Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the RantCast Podcast. It is 8:24 p.m. U.S. Central Standard Time. And we are beginning the stream now. I am one of your hosts, Joshua. I'm also known as StrangeBus. You can find me at twitch.tv/StrangeBus. I am accompanied here live by another one of our hosts, Kurgan. You can also find him naturally at twitch.tv/HeroQuest fans. That's backward. I need to flip that. That's twitch.tv/HeroQuest fans. Hope everybody's having a great night. Hope you're taking care of yourselves and each other. And we're going to get this underway here. Give me 1 second. I'm going to flip that around.
Episode number...
415. I always end up forgetting to change that.
It's been a while. Been a while since we've been on the...
Yeah. Few shakes. Just got stuff switched around here.
We got here tonight. Count Cogpox. Hey, welcome, buddy.
There you go.
May have noticed the shirts. Feature merch, maybe?
There you go.
Gonna put on the back of your
Oh,
shirt
yeah.
there.
There you go. Eh?
Oh, yeah.
Can you see it? Got it?
Yep, that's a wrestling move right there. If we get popular enough, it's like you won't want to wear it because people will just jump you.
Are you there a place people can get these now?
Not yet, but we'll see if there's some demand. Maybe we can get a merch shop going. I mean, they didn't say anything. They didn't send any Pinkertons after us at GenCon, so...
No Pinkerton?
No Pinkertons.
Alright,
That
that's
was
good.
the theme of the evening.
Well, we've got a pretty decent show today. I know we've been gone for a little while. I especially have taken a small break, so...
Welcome back.
yeah.
Welcome back to the...
We've got some things going on.
Yeah.
In fact, so we've got GenCon review. Looks like Hasbro might be doing something with AI and digital, like a digital transformation. So Kurgan's going to kind of cover that. And then
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just going to kind of go over some recent movies that I kind of covered. And then some upcoming game releases. And then that's going to be our show tonight. So it's going to be... Kurgan, you're going to be taking over the show today.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's going to be the big thing. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get this underway with the HeroQuest Power Hour. So we'll kind of start off with GenCon. You want to go ahead and get it underway?
Tell you something, brother. So, GenCon, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear that.
So this was my first ever GenCon, Indianapolis, Indiana. A friend of mine is a big D&D fan. And for years, he's been talking about, oh yeah, Gen Con's so awesome. Like, you know, we should go sometime. And he'd taken a few years off. COVID happened, and they kind of scaled everything back. And you can watch the videos. You can see Chris Nato of Avalon Hill with his mask on, you know, doing interviews, running up and down the field. You know, they did the best they could. But this year was like a perfect year to start off. Like everybody was saying, like it was so big. You know, for me, this was just like a paradise of just board game mayhem. And I've been to E3, but that was like 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago now. But I got into that kind of same mindset of like being on the bus and like, you know, just eating junk food and just like sneaking into the booth and like staying a little too long, like all that kind of stuff, like, you know, finding stuff on the floor and just like, oh yeah, I got an extra ticket, you know, that mindset, that like guerrilla reporting. I just love that. Because I joined up late because I wasn't sure, I don't know if I'm going to go and all this stuff. And I just had generic tickets, so I wasn't signed up for anything. But that gave me the freedom, while the group I was with, they were like, you know, okay, I've got to go to this time slot, and then I got to be over in this class and this seminar, and I got to be here and there. It was just like, I could just roam around. There were enough vendors and people demoing games, mostly board games, but some video games too, that I just got to see like all kinds of stuff. Now, I do have a couple regrets. Now, Avalon Hill was super cool because I got interviews with like 3 of the development team. So I got 4 interviews out of that, and I was not expecting that at all. I mean, they said, "Oh yeah, you should come over and say hi." And it's like, okay, well maybe we'll have a chair for you, and maybe we'll have an interview. So like it just kept growing. But like there were a few things that I kind of wish that I'd asked. And one of the topics we'll be covering a little bit later is this whole like AI thing that never came up. The other thing was there was one guy, Craig Von Ness, who he and Stephen Baker wasn't there, but Craig Von Ness was there. He was like the original HeroScape guy. So you all remember the infamous HasLab campaign, very successful for HeroQuest, but then HeroScape kind of flopped at the halfway mark. They didn't finish. And so everybody was disappointed. And then Hasbro announced that they were having this partnership with Renegade Studios, and they were going to pick up HeroScape, and they were going to be there. And I kind of thought, yeah, they won't have anything. There'll be no information because it's like a year away. But then they were handing out these flyers saying HeroScape, HeroScape, and they had these pins. So I've got like a little pin for HeroScape, and people were wearing those. And so I was excited. So I went over there, and they had like different locations. So there was like actually a room that had Renegade Studios there. And because some of the developers had like, specific, like you'd go into a conference room and it would just be their stuff and their staff, just like, yeah, let me tell you all about our games. And they're just like, nope, next year. Don't have anything next year. Here's a pin. And I was just like, darn it. And I kept trying to ask it, like rephrase the question, like, nope, next year, 2024, come on back. It's like, darn it. But anyway, I should have gone back to Craig Von Ness and said, listen, they're not telling me anything. Can you at least just tell me some stories about the old game? So I was kind of kicking myself that I didn't do that. But I still got more than I bargained for. It was really great. And I was thinking, like, dang it, you got to be careful as a reporter. They're going to try to butter you up and give you, like, free swag, like these really cool dice. Not a big deal. But I just want to tell everybody, because I did get several people, like, messaging me saying, like, oh, I'll pay you for these. Like, I'll buy it off you. Or more reasonably, they were saying, well, if you do a pre-order for me, I'll pay you back so that I can get the dice. But they've said over and over again on Discord, these are not meant to be an exclusive. Like, these are going to be available in another way.
Scalpers pretty much trying to take advantage.
$325 online, I think, was the latest I saw for these 6 dice in a little tin with a little thing. So, but you'll notice when I put my videos up on XSC3, Home of HeroQuest fans, I had to put the like sponsored thing because they gave this to me for free. So it's like, okay.
And those are pretty much you're just getting them early, right?
Yeah. Other people will be able to get these, but I don't know if they're going to be in this tin. They might be like part of an expansion, or they might be, I don't know. They might be just like this, like you order from Hasbro Pulse and they just throw that in, So don't buy these from a scalper. As much as you want these, don't do it, please, because you're going to kick yourself. You're going to, they talk about fear of missing out, like miss out on the fact that you won't have to pay like $50 for these. These will just be like part of something else that you'll be buying anyway, right? As a HeroQuest fan. So also I had my custom cards, and I was kind of like handing them out like, oh yeah, here, check this out. And they were really cool about it because they've said over and over, I mean, HeroQuest is for modding. And actually, I felt like that spirit of HeroQuest was everywhere. Because I went to the Games Workshop booth. I mean, people badmouth Games Workshop, Warhammer. Those guys were super cool. Like, say what you want about what they've done in the past with exclusives and, like, fighting over rules. They were, like, super chill. So somebody over there is listening. Because they were just like, oh, yeah, make your model and we don't care. Like, do whatever you want with it. And there were people that had set up like Space Hulk, and they were using like McFarlane action figures. I think those are like the 10-inch or 12-inch figures, and they had built up like the corridors and everything for the dungeon. And they were using like modified rules. So they were using like homebrew house rules to play at the official booth, which I thought was so cool. And they were playing Kill Team, again, with custom rules. It wasn't like by the book. It was just really accessible and easy for you to play the game. And they had it printed out there too, so you could like look at it. So I got snaps of it. And I was like, yeah, that's that's the spirit of gaming that I like, rather than this, very strict, oh, I'm sorry, you can't play that way. You got to play this way. Avalon Hill did the same thing. They had staffers from like other places that they'd recruited. One of the guys from our HeroQuest fans Discord, Inspector Retro, was there. Really cool guy. First person that I've gotten to meet like from that community. And he got, like, they gave him an Avalon Hill shirt. They sat him down, let him demo the game for some people. It's pretty sweet. They were giving away stuff. But again, all this time, it's like, okay, I really like these guys, but I can't let them influence me with, free stuff. So you gotta keep that in mind. But it was a very positive experience. But anyway, they had people from like Baldman Games. JR was the guy. He was one of the Zargons. And he was just like totally, like he had like all these house rules that he was just throwing out, like as we were playing. So he kept us guessing like the whole time. So like we were searching furniture, like individual pieces of furniture, and he was rolling dice. And it's like, oh, and you got an artifact. And it was just like, what? So I appreciated that. I mean, they were just going all out. Like, we're serious. Like, they had, created all these, rules, but they left gaps in the story for you to insert your imagination. They've changed the rules just to show that they're serious about customization.
I think that's a good way to play. Like I mentioned before, like I said before, I think board games, especially HeroQuest, D&D, things like that, they're a good chunk of that experience is left for the player. It's left to the imagination. Like, granted, there are rules, but to me, it's a baseline. It's meant for the biggest expansion to those games is you.
Yeah.
So
more like suggestions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the biggest part of it is you. So with like for me, a video game has to have certain strict guidelines. You can use your imagination, but it's not as broad. And the modding community does help.
Yeah,
you want to have Thomas the Train in your Skyrim or whatever. That's fine. But but the big thing is with HeroQuest, like you said, you were searching individual pieces of furniture, and so you can do that. You can play by the original rules. I feel you can go as far as making your own quests to your liking. I feel.
Yeah, you can make your own game with it.
Yeah,
really.
And it's like I said, the sky is the limit. So.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, when you buy their game, they've made the sale. So if you want to play Tiddlywinks with it, or Power Rangers with it, sure, why not? I mean, yeah, there's a certain level of, like, I guess, there's a certain level of integrity, I guess. They'll say, well, this is our vision for the game. But if you don't like it, cast that aside and do your own thing. So a lot of fans are concerned about
$130 for it. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. It's yours now. It's your game now. Make it your own. So a lot of the things they said in those interviews, like, I have no reason to doubt that that's what they really believe. I mean, that's what they're saying to us. So they seem serious about, make it your own. This is your sandbox to play in. But it just kind of opens your mind, because I see that in HeroQuest. I knew that about HeroQuest, but the company is saying what we've always believed. And these other game companies are saying, like, yeah, we can do that too. You want to play D&D? You can simplify it, you can change it. And it's not just, okay, well, we're dumbing the game down for you people at the convention who've never played it. It's like, no, you can play this way. This is a perfectly legitimate way to play. If it's fun for you, do it. Go for it.
Indeed.
So I like that a lot. And the other thing that I appreciated was they showed you the sky was the limit. I mean, I got to see the fancy, like, dice rolling mats that people had. And I always kind of made fun of that. I thought, that's so stupid. Why would you even care about something like that? But I rolled my dice on it. It was like, oh, they kind of bounce, like, in a kind of pleasing way. So it's like, all right, yeah, there's a place for that too, if you want to spend the money on something like that, or just, make it yourself out of craft foam or something.
Just a real quick, just want to say hello to Luca Rocks. Thanks for coming in. And
Berg.
I
couldn't see that. Yeah, welcome, guys.
Sorry. I wish I could get that. Like I said, this is as quick as a setup as we could have. So
That's good.
That was crowding in like we did before. So
Yeah, live via satellite. So what do you think, Kurgan? Well, I think that the delay. Did we shout out Karl Casey, or what was our music?
Oh yes,
Because I couldn't hear it.
The music provided that is by Karl Casey at White Bat Audio. So
White Bat Audio. Yep.
I'm always so loose about it now because I just inserted into the top. So
yeah. Well, we just want to shout out his awesome YouTube channel and his cool music.
Because I'm glad we're not lore locking the sandbox for sure. And how did I get a mod roll? I don't know. That's on Kurgan. You handled.
Yeah, I just hand them out. Yeah, thanks for.
So you get a mod roll. You get a mod roll.
Everybody gets a mod roll. Well, Verg is one of those people who like pushes me to be better. So I always appreciate your feedback, and I figure, hey, you know what it's about, so you're welcome to it. If you don't want it, just tell me.
Yeah, just give him a DM. Yeah, props to Kurgan for staying in character for GenCon. So
yes. I was worried that it was going to be like really hot. So the weather was supposed to be hot and rainy, but actually it was just fine. Like walking over there, so we had to park in a parking garage, and it was like a half a mile to the Indianapolis Convention Center, and it was fine. It was brisk. I mean, they had scooters, and I was like, oh man, I could get a scooter and be like scooter on. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna just fall out, make a fool of myself. So I didn't do it.
It would have been fun to see you on a scooter, but at the same time, like had you biffed it, it would have been bad.
Yeah, it would have been really bad. Really bad. Well, and you might wonder why my beard is a little bit more scraggly than normal. So I did a LARP first time. It's like, what's your LARP, Grandpa? Live action role play. So they had this Tavern Warren thing, or Warren Tavern. I don't remember what it was called, but they're just like, yeah, we just take some generic tickets and you go through like a maze. It was like a Halloween thing, where the people jump out in the costumes and go, ah! It was like that. But people would like go downstairs. This is in the hotel that's connected to the convention center. So people would go downstairs, and there was this kiosk that was selling like high quality like foam swords, and you could get like armor. I mean, it was like aluminum, but I mean, it looked cool. That you could buy chainmail that was probably much more expensive, but people were buying stuff there and then like taking it over and saying like, hey, can I use this? Of course, they also had like a big pile of gear, and you would be heroes or adventurers, and you would go through these little rooms where there were monsters. And I was like, oh man, I want to be a monster. So I paid my tickets, and I think they only got like 15 minutes to go through, but I did it for like 2 hours for like $4. I was like, that's great. They were just like, okay, here's the rules. It's light contact, no headshots, and I got hit in the head a couple times. So people were like, slapping me in the face. It's probably the beard. Aim for the beard. And they hit me in the face. Oh, sorry. It's like, because, so a group of monsters, we got to be zombies and skeletons and swamp creatures.
See, what you do.
So like the pool noodle, and we're trying to like...
What you do is you get whacked in the face, and you do that thing where you're like... You get like mad.
Get hulked up. Well, the thing was though, and I so they gave us like these masks and stuff to wear, but I kept my beard on, so it's like this is my real face, and I put it on over. So that was what I did. Yeah, we got to be spider creatures, and so they're like, yeah, the spider creatures are a little smarter. Maybe they'll like.
You wore the
monster mask.
You wore the monster mask over your original. Dude, yes. That's okay. This guy has dedication. Like beyond what I thought.
It was fun.
So he said, Luke Rock said, lol, that beard on a scooter. Wow.
Yeah, that would have been great.
Too bad they didn't have life-sized HeroQuest.
That is my dream. And some of those European countries have come close. Like they've had a board printed out that's like the floor mat, and they've had like cardboard standees of like orcs and stuff, and then they've had like maybe like a fireplace. Or like
what I would want to do is like something like it's like a building, kind of like laser tag building.
Yes.
What they would do is they would put the walls up, the doors up.
That'd be so sweet.
Like strapped in. Like,
yeah. You got to open the door and the fog comes in.
Yeah, you get some like dry ice to make that fog.
Well, that's what these guys were doing, just on a budget. So they had like magic spells. You had these little bean bags you had to throw.
Kickstarter to send Kurgan to Spain for life-sized HeroQuest.
Yes. do it. Let's make it happen.
I will pay to join you.
Friends on the inside.
That's our guys.
Make it happen.
So I'll go for life-size HeroQuest.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So they kind of like changed the rules as we were playing because we were out there with like the heroes are coming in and we're fighting with them, and there was like one of the staffer guys. It's like, so they were throwing magic at me, and I'm just like, no effect. You know, it doesn't. They're like, no, it affects you. I'm like, oh, delayed reaction. Like throwing myself against the wall because they were supposed to be like dumb monsters. Like, yeah, you know, we would get lives, and so you had to like come back, and then you rise back up again, and you attack some more. And there was a little kid, and they're like, "Yeah, go easy on him." And so like get right up in his face, but he's just like, "What?" And so like the adults are like, "Here, we'll help you," with their swords and everything. It was a lot of fun. But
I could see you like getting into your grandpa ages, being like that. The kids like.
Yeah, well, and we were supposed to be swamp creatures, and so they had like these pool noodles that were like covered in tape and stuff, and they kept saying like, no, it looks too phallic. It's like, I'm sorry, it's like a low guard, you know, trying to like do this. You're trying to, you know, this wholesome game that we're trying to play, get your mind out of the gutter. It's like, okay, fine, So anyway,
wait, they told you it looked too phallic?
Yeah, I mean, in between, like, no, it's like higher. Sorry, it's my first time.
He's always swinging it around, slapping the heroes in the face. You know,
it's like this is borderline harassment. So anyway, so that was a fun experience. So again, this is one of those things where I would have looked at it and gone, that looks just way too goofy for me. It's like, I'll give it a shot. You know, it's kind of fun.
Try something at least once.
Try something new. Yeah,
it won't hurt you, kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember like we used to use pool noodles all the time to beat each other up.
Well, and well, I'll just let him tell the story. But
let's send him anywhere Joe Mangiello is at and get him to unleash Crypt for everyone.
Yeah. Unfortunately, so if you go to my YouTube channel and you listen to those, well, they're going to get lots of feedback. Those interviews, they specifically said no. That's one of the exclusives. So Joe's stuff is not going to get re-released. I was thinking, what they didn't say is that we'll never get any dragon ever. They just said we're not going to get that dragon. So maybe if there's enough demand, they could just sculpt a new character. Or what if they get Joe back and he writes a quest for him, another, you know, a different quest. You know, if you like his style, I'm sure he's learned a lot since that first release.
Yeah, Luke Rock's Kurgan did post the interviews on his YouTube. Yeah. So I even sent a notification to his Discord. Yeah. So like,
turn the volume down in the first 30 seconds because
he's adjusting his sound, and Conline is fine. So it starts off like super low with him, and then goes like it'll play.
He's got the announcer voice. Yes, and I am using technology from the 1990s. I realize that. Old man Kurgan and his technology.
Joe better write something better this time.
Yeah. Well, he was getting his feet wet, and they gave him a lot of credit for he was using his star power to like get people interested. You know, it was less about like the stuff he was making and the fact that, hey, here's a celebrity that some people know. And that led to a lot of speculation that, okay, they're bringing D&D people in. They're going to turn HeroQuest into D&D. But they made it very clear that this is not going to be, like, HeroQuest is going to maintain its integrity as its own product. So they're not competing with themselves. You know what I mean? Wizards of the Coast is doing what they do. HeroQuest is doing what they do. They still have a great relationship with Games Workshop. Like, they plugged Games Workshop a lot. So I think they were really trying to maybe offset a lot of the negativity that people had built up. Because, I mean, just listen to the interview. Tell me I'm wrong. But it sounded like we should be thanking Games Workshop for the fact that HeroQuest came back. Because if they hadn't signed off on it, it wouldn't have happened. Like, they were holding on to pieces of the IP. Just like Hasbro was holding on to their pieces. And so they basically were like, we want this to happen too. Here you go. Here you go.
Oh, see, that doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
Not with like so if you get like two companies that share a license,
Yeah.
like usually one company wants that half the license and they'll negotiate for it.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, like Games Workshop just handed it over.
Well, let me amend that by saying I don't know if they said, oh yeah, and then you got to pay us, $10 million for. Like you got
so like, I don't know. They negotiated.
They did whatever they did behind closed doors.
Like I said, there's a lot of IPs out there that are dead, or they will just never get tossed to somebody else.
Yeah.
Because they're split, like movie licenses. I mean, we almost lost Spider-Man because of that.
Oh, between Sony and
Disney, yeah, because of a lot of that. That's how Andrew Garfield lost his spot. So.
Oh man.
But yeah, Luke Rock said that it's cool they work together. And,
very cool.
Yeah, so I have when adults act like adults.
I have a newfound respect. I mean, I think the biggest complaints that people have about Games Workshop are that they're very strict with their IP. So some of the fan videos and stuff, they've clamped down on those. But I don't know, from that company's point of view, I suppose they would say, well, we'll allow this, but you guys took it too far. I don't know. If I was somebody whose video got taken down, I'd probably be pissed. I get it. Also, they do a lot of exclusives, and so there's always the fear of missing out. It's like, oh man, they're exploiting that with people. Nevertheless, they were really cool at the convention. There's a lot of fans that maybe don't take it to that extreme, and there's apparently good people at the company that they're friends with that they talk to.
Welcome in, Ribby.
Hey, Ribby. Yeah. So the biggest thing with Ribby there, so I really appreciate the fact that he 3D printed some really awesome rims to put on the bottom of the HeroQuest figures so that you could differentiate the mercenaries, which ones are you controlling? Because even if you paint them, it's like, well, you might have a different configuration. Like I've got 2 scouts and a crossbowman, and you've got 1 scout and a halberdier, and it's like, who's got what? You got a nice colorful rim under there that you 3D printed. Works perfectly. Well, guess what? I was showing them, with his permission, of course, to Avalon Bill. And he was like, oh, these are really cool. This makes me think of, Betrayal at House on the Hill. And I'm like, what? And so he and Chris Nato, a.k.a. and Carmine, showed me the fact that they have this other game, which they actually gave me a copy of. Let's see if it's over here. So, not to brag or anything, but thank you guys for this. Now, none of the people who autographed it actually had anything to do with the game other than they are part of Avalon Hill that published this. But in this game, they actually have little rims that go on the figures. So I'll show you real quick. I showed it in my quick video. I mean, I was just uploading those videos as quickly as I could, not edited or anything.
Hey, Jacer, you watched the interviews. They were good.
Yeah.
Elberg stated he ordered a 6-pack of them, and they will be here Saturday.
Nice.
They are really cool. I like those. The fact that because you get those gray pieces, and those kind of help you identify who's who, or like you were stating before, if you've got mercenaries, if you were to get mercenaries, that would help you differentiate whose stuff is whose.
In other games, people have made these on Etsy for D&D, oh, my character got poisoned, so he's got this, or he's...
And Ribby made those, right?
Yeah, Ribby made a bunch of them for me, which, again, really cool. And he did some for the classic set, too. But if you're just looking for remake ones, again, not to plug this, because this was given to me as a gift, but this already includes those things. So, yes, you could buy a bunch of these and, put them on HeroQuest. If you've got it already... But my point is, it would be so easy for Avalon Hill to just be drop some of those in the next HeroQuest box.
There's cents on the dollar, I believe.
Yeah,
at that point.
They probably have just huge bins full of them. So, yeah, that could be something they could do. It'd be really easy.
Elberg stated he got the trail ones. They're $5 on eBay and $5 for shipping. Seemed worth it enough to check it out.
Yeah, I've never played that game, but, I mean, I've got it now, so I could check it out. Yeah, so there was a lot of stuff. Yeah, they were also giving away these Frozen Horror dice. These are the ones, I guess they call them seconds, where they're they're imperfect in some way, but it's like they just had just a huge pile of them. It's like, here you go, here you go, here you go. You know, take a couple dice with you. It's pretty cool.
You get some dice. You get some dice.
Everybody gets dice.
Hey, throws dice at somebody.
Yeah, it was fun. But yeah, people were running games at their tables, and there were no spots because, again, I didn't have any reservations. I just had generic tickets, so I kept coming by. It's like, any openings? Any no-shows? And then finally I got in and I'm like, yes. And I didn't get to finish any games. I would start a game, I'd play for like, I don't know, 45 minutes, and then I'd get a call like, oh yeah, we're done. We're going to dinner. Okay, bye, gotta go. So somebody else got my spot. And it's like, hey, that's cool. And the plan was, Inspector Retro could tell you more about this, but his plan was he was going to get the Avalon Hill guys all together to play a game with us. It's like, oh, that'd be sweet. Problem is, they were running around. They were super busy, so it was really hard. But he did get Avalon Bill to sit down. That guy was pretty awesome. It was funny because he was the one that I gave him so much crap about courage. Because he like made an official announcement. It's like, well, this is how the courage spell works, and everyone was like, wrong. And I, like virtually got in his face. It was like, nope, that's not how it works. He's like, well, you can do whatever you want. So when I was talking with him, turns out he's been in charge of like social media stuff for a long time. So I'm sure he's gotten the riot act from tons of like trolls online, and he's gotten flamed. And everything.
I'm pretty sure it was just dismissive, like, yep, okay,
sure, whatever, crazy fan guy.
It's like whatever you say, HeroQuest is what you make of it. So
yeah, but he was very gracious. But he was saying our community, like, as angry as we get, we're nowhere near as bad as, like, he's gotten it way worse, and he understands that it's coming from a place of passion, not malice. You know what I mean?
There's HeroQuest anger, and then there's Star Wars anger.
Yeah. So, yeah, as our community gets bigger and bigger, you're going to get more, hate to say it, toxic fans. Ooh. That's a whole nother rant. It's like when companies, like, use a few people that overreact, make, death threats and stuff, and project that onto the whole community and, use it as an excuse to ignore legit feedback. But thankfully, I don't think they're doing that.
No, we don't have anything really bad.
I'm losing my voice a little bit. You want to talk?
Need to get some water?
Yeah, I do.
Get some water in the back.
All right, cool. Where?
And back up by the kitchen.
All right. Yeah.
I think we're going to take a quick BRB, a little early BRB. We'll grab some water. We'll be right back.
Yeah, so GenCon was awesome.
But we'll be back with the Hasbro'S Ai debacle here.
Oh, man. So, that's what I wish I had asked about, because that would have been a whole, another couple hours of interviews, probably.
But hang around. We'll be right back, guys.
RantCast, yeah.
And we're back. Thanks for waiting, everybody. Go ahead and pull this back up. We got a couple messages here. I'll just kind of go over them. Ulverk stated that there is. Well, Lucarox stated is toxic. It's just passionate but annoying. Ulverk responded, there's passion there, but when the passion is just a dump on everything that Avalon releases about what they don't like, then they've moved on into just troll. There's some folks you just can't please when it comes to the new game, and they're not willing to move on.
My point is, you don't have to worry about those people, and neither does the company. Like, if it's a small minority of people who are just like, yeah, everything sucks, it's like, you don't have to worry, because that's, I mean, those aren't the people who are buying your product. Just like you've got the super fans, and then you've got the fanboys, what I call, you know, the people who are so loyal that no matter how much it sucks, they're going to just say it's the best thing ever. Like, you don't have to worry about those people either. You got to get the majority of the people in the middle who are kind of on the fence, or they kind of like your product, or maybe they might be interested in your product. You know, you cater to them.
As far as like, you know, as far as like stuff where I'm concerned as well, it's just I'm not a huge fan of bigger companies, so
yeah,
I'm harder on bigger companies.
Don't trust them, yeah.
As far as Avalon Hill goes, they're kind of just in the middle of that, because it's like I said, the biggest sample, and I've said it before, the biggest sample is like I relate to video games on that front. Is like you've got a publisher, you got a developer, and the developer signs with the publisher. You know, sometimes developers work on their own, they make a great video game, and the publisher comes in and goes, hey, if you want to make a better video game, we'll give you a ton of money. And they buy them out, and, you know, then they can still work on their terms. But the developer or the publisher leaves a laundry list of, like, requirements, and sometimes overworks them and all that stuff like that, and it just turns into a shit show. And then eventually the developer can get shut down, or they get let go.
Yeah.
A big thing here is that's just me. So when I come in, I dump on things like that. I do it with everything, and it's also I'm gonna say I'm really hard on everything.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't mean that I don't understand.
We've been burned before by these big companies.
That I don't understand the passion of where Avalon Hill sticks, or like it's
finish your thought. Yeah, I got.
It's just like, you know, because there's a good thing here, but like I said, I've stated before when my beef lies, but
yeah, because
I like the new stuff that's being released. We've gone over it a couple times.
Yeah, we have.
And like I said, nothing out there screams scam, or
no,
well, at least not yet anyway.
Not yet. Well, that's the thing. My imagination goes in different directions. So I was going to make an analogy, but I guess it really doesn't work. I was thinking, like, you go to McDonald's and there's like some guy there that, like, he knows what you want, and he's going to, like, make sure that burger is, like, perfect for you. They're like, yeah, it's like great. And then one day you come in and it's like, there's like, nah, we fired it. He wasn't working fast enough. He's gone.
He wasn't following the brand.
Yeah, he wasn't following the brand. So it's like, oh, dang it. So I think as long as the people in charge or at Hasbro recognize that, hey, these Avalon Hill guys are doing a great job, we'll just keep letting them do what they do, give them the resources they need, and it'll be fine. But what if control? Yeah, what if it gets so big at one point they're like, let's reach in and, like, make some changes to really make some money, and then it's like scramble it all up and ruin it. That's what I think a lot of us are fearful about. And I'm going to dig back into the history of my community, HeroQuest fans, and Shadzar, I remember one of his early worries was that they're bringing in all these D&D people and Wizards of the Coast, and HeroQuest is going to get watered down and turn into this D&D light thing. But they were very clear. They're like, no, we're going to stand out. We're going to be our own product. You can like both if you want. There's no competition. And when we were talking about the Wandering Monk, there's a really interesting second interview. And Chris Nato really wanted to talk about this. And I was like, all right. And there was a little bit of a discussion on HeroQuest fans about it, where people were saying like, well, I'm hearing negative things. And it's like, what are you even talking about? Like, who's saying this stuff? You know, you've got a kung fu character as a cleric, you know, who has elemental martial arts styles. And then, you know, it was all this other stuff. But it's like, just don't even, I don't know. People are just like, I don't know, just saying weird stuff just to say it. It's like, it's just another character. You know, you can use it or not use it.
We got another big one.
Yeah.
Karl stated, I listened to your interviews, Kurgan. I enjoyed all the coverage. I was really disappointed in the second half of the Ian Carmine interview, mostly the part where he wants to retcon Holy Water and the Cleric class in the HeroQuest remake. Why he is resistant to that, I don't know, but I felt let down as a fan. He said he wasn't familiar with the legacy of Sorasil. I have a mildly worded rant I will post about it at some point, with love and respect for the fans, creators, and IP, of course.
Yeah. Well, I figure they didn't say anything that they didn't want the public to hear. The whole point of this was to put their thoughts out because they're trying to get that feedback. My initial thought was, okay, they're treading a very fine line here with HeroQuest because they're trying to appease the hardcore fans who want everything to stay the same, maintain that tradition that we've maintained for 30 years without them. And they're also trying to draw in new fans. Because with so many of these franchises that get remade, there's always the question of like diluting it and changing it into something that they think is going to be more marketable, but ends up just like losing everybody because they've pleased no one. So they're trying very carefully to do that. Now, the stuff they brought in from the European game, like the original HeroQuest, was a little more grounded in Warhammer Fantasy. And yeah, it had stuff like Holy Water. And the Japanese version had like the evil god that was coming back to like kill everybody that you had to fight. So like the whole question of like a religion and spirituality and mysticism and all that stuff within HeroQuest, a lot of like North American players don't know about that stuff. And so they're like, okay, how do we bring that in without like maybe changing the whole tone of it? I mean, fans like us that are like hardcore that know about that stuff can handle it. But they were just worried about alienating people. And I get it because, okay, so if you make like a fantasy version of a real life religion, people who practice that religion are going to be like, no, this is kind of awkward and weird. Like you're kind of like using our deeply held beliefs for entertainment, you know? And so, okay, so they make up something totally different, like totally fantastic and put it in there, but does it feel like it fits? You know? And then there was a whole question of, are they just going to be copying Dungeons and Dragons? But yes, there is that moment where you're like, okay, if they had taken the time amongst all their other research, because they have all those draft notes and everything to go through, they had looked at Legacy of Sorasil, they would have seen, oh, there is precedent for a cleric character in HeroQuest. There's a cleric, there's a mystic, there's a paladin. Some people dismiss the Legacy of Sorasil computer game, saying that, oh, it's just a mesh of like D&D and HeroQuest together, and it doesn't really fit with the rest of the universe. Nevertheless, it's out there. So, I don't know. It's kind of like you can wave it in people's faces. Like if they say, well, that's not part of Hero. There was never any holy water in HeroQuest. It's like, well, actually, yeah, there was. Here it is. You know, educate yourself that it's there. Well, I don't want it now. Okay, well. So there's different ways to approach it. So some people do not want, just like they don't want politics in their games, they don't want religion in their game. You know, regardless of what their own beliefs are. They may be non-religious, they may be very religious.
Just help state on that so we can...
Part of the...
kind of continue.
Yeah,
Sure did state he wanted 2 nights in the box. Ragnar with no helmet and one with a helmet.
Yeah, that would have worked. I mean, it's like the Space Marine commanders. They have their helmet off, and it's like, that's silly. They would wear the helmet, right? They would wear the helmet. But if you're painting them, you're like, oh, I want, variety.
But
a head swap.
To move on, do we have anything else about Gen Con before we move to the next topic?
I've already said plenty. Yeah, I had a really great experience. I would do it again. And I think if I had to do it over, I would definitely do an interview with Craig Von Ness. I would love to interview Doug Hopkins, because Doug wrote a lot of the rules for the game, a lot of the rules for the different heroes. And it's like, he wasn't there, So I talked to the marketing guy. I talked to the project leader. I talked to the social media guy, the PR people. So it's like, that was really cool. But yeah, there's more layers. And Tess, who wrote Rise of the Dread Moon, she was right there. And it's like, but I'm not going to do an interview. So, I mean, we just chatted a little bit. She was super cool. But it was like, how often do you get to find, like, the person who wrote the story to the game, like, right there? And it's like, oh, yeah, there's 200 pages of notes. It's like, can I see them? It's like, no, you can't. Darn it. But usually you don't get to do that sort of thing. A board game just comes out and you just play it, and maybe you'll hear about somebody who came up with the initial idea, but you don't get to, like, interview the developers of the game. So I thought that was just super cool, super unique. And I'm sure there's other people out there who have talked to these people over the years. So I hope that I did justice to you guys in the sense of, like, getting your questions and asking them, because there were some off the wall questions they kind of laughed at, but a lot of them were like, yeah, we have been researching that. We have been studying that. We have been tossing ideas around. So it was a nice little glimpse behind the scenes. So really cool.
Okay.
Anyway, I could go on. So that was Gen Con.
So with our next topic, we're going to be looking at Hasbro'S AI Aspiration to include a partnership with novel digital board game platform.
This is a big one.
Yeah, the article referencing it's just coming from Polygon, so take what you will with this. But
it's Polygon,
yeah, this was from July 27th of this year, and we'll give the credit to the article as Charlie L. Hall, and we'll go ahead and switch this on over. But
I should have noted who shared this with me the first time. I'm so sorry, I forgot already who shared it. But this was sent to me. This was not something that I dug up on my own. It's like, oh, really?
Yeah, this was referenced to us. We pulled an article or two and then referenced the best one available. So what we're going to do is kind of show this as more of a concern and something that might be popping up in future.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and read the article, and then we can kind of give our opinions about it.
And I will say, I feel like I dropped the ball by not actually bringing this up at Gen Con. I totally forgot. I was sucked into the things I was asking about.
It's okay. We'll get them next time.
Yeah. This could be this would have been like a whole hour-long thing, probably. Because right now on HeroQuest, you've got the companion app. So you can have a digital Zargon on your phone or mobile device. And it's like, it's okay. It's no substitute for a human player who can, adapt on the fly to different situations and kind of improv and ad-lib.
So that's what part of what makes Gen Con so cool. A lot of games get launched there. Makes it an event for hardcore fans to partake in. Verg states, I'm pretty sure I shared it with you, but I don't care about credit on stuff like this.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for doing that. Well, look at the finger. It's like, oh.
If people can still hear me, because our mic is kind of set up in a weird way.
Yeah. RantCast.
I'll kind of give off some parts of the article here. So we've got Hasbro, publisher of Dungeons & Dragons, Magic, and dozen classic board games, will partner with Explored, makers of Xiburu digital board game platform.
Xiburu.
So
go ahead, the top of the article if you want.
Yeah.
So in case you want to look it up there yourself.
Yeah, that's what we got there. The Rhode Island-based company said Monday in a news release that the collaboration would help it explore the integration of smart sensing technology, AI, and dynamic multimedia. We envision a future where technology seamlessly integrates into analog gaming experiences. Adam Beal, Senior Vice President and General Manager of Hasbro, and General Manager of Hasbro Gaming. And the news release, working with Explored enables us to deliver innovative gameplay to our players and fans, limitless digital expansions to physical games, seamless onboarding, and powerful AI-driven game mechanics. So we'll kind of go down a little bit more here. Because Explored has kind of access to certain platforms and resources. They use RFID tags, Bluetooth, smart devices, tablets, television, smart TVs, stuff like that. So you're going to probably be looking into, like, if the partnership was kind of being made here, what we're kind of looking at is, I wouldn't just say HeroQuest, but anything with Hasbro that'd be using a lot of those resources. So less physical, more digital is what I'm thinking of. So you'd probably be thinking, like, scan your phone and use the
What's funny?
the 3D application, or
Yeah.
what is that? Because they don't do it too much. But they use it with phones. It's not like VR. Oh, AR, like augmented reality.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, you're looking at the board and you see like the guy's glowing. He's like the little ghost player is moving forward or whatever.
Yeah. So
3D stuff, effects.
if you want to look into it more here, they kind of give off a good detail of some, like an example game they're going to have kind of releasing. So
I have so many thoughts about this.
the digital kit,
Yeah.
I'll kind of explain what the digital kit they're going to be introducing for one of their games. And this is with Explore. This is with Hasbro. This is something that they would be introducing if they partnered. Allows games to always know where the players are on the board. Enables developers to program behaviors into enemies or environments. Kickoff based, where you have to move your. Okay, this is an example. So, for example, four player characters had a unique sound in their footsteps. So when my character stepped out over a pit of lava, I could hear the pops and fizzles of the molten rock underneath. Using my smartphone, I was able to select a skill to use from a small hand of cards shown on my screen. Picking up and rolling the dice, I got 6, and made a unique sound as I succeeded in hitting the boss. That boss's twin lit up, indicating that I had dropped its shields on its rear left side. Then play passed to the player on my left, whose turn began with a unique magical or musical flourish.
Got a good comment from Verg already.
Yeah, so it's what do you call a gimmick? I mean something extremely well.
To clarify, when I use the term gimmick, I'm talking about like a special feature that you put into a quest, something that catches your attention. And he's talking about it in the negative sense.
So,
because I can see a lot of benefits here, but I can also see a lot of downsides already.
I'm hoping that if they do something like this, the physical board game does not lose its popularity or its demand, because and this is coming from my experience, right?
Yeah.
Hasbro likes to kickstart things. It's Hasbro, right? They do a lot of Kickstarter projects.
Hasbro HasLab is the name of their crowdfunding.
Yeah, and they do a lot of like exclusive
one-off
releases, or limited releases. With your experience with HeroQuest, it was besides this one, right? Because this one was a bigger release, right?
Yeah.
So it was mostly kind of like a limited release for the other board.
Well,
board game expansions.
The way Avalon Hill spun it or presented it at GenCon was they wanted to do retail from the beginning, but they had to prove to the company that it was viable. So they used the HasLab as a jumping off point.
Yeah.
But a lot of those products never go to retail ever.
Yeah. So it's just something
to the scalper market.
Yeah, something they just throw off.
Yeah.
So I feel like this would be a good excuse for them to kind of negate physical release and introduce digital release. So more money in your pocket, less money on reproducing physical anything.
Yeah. Well, and plus, I was thinking one of the first thoughts was, well, if they're going to put like chips inside all the pieces and everything and embed it in the board, like that's going to be really expensive, right? Wrong, because they can sell your data. Think about it. They can sell you ads, targeted marketing, all that stuff.
I mean, more for your phone, but
yeah,
it's like, so if they're doing like a mixture of physical and like technological, like for example, Skylanders was a big thing in video games, like on that front.
they give you the plastic minis that you'd scan into the
Yeah,
game to get unique items and things.
They would do, if they did something, for example, like this for HeroQuest, it would be like everything would be, a good chunk of that stuff would be electronic, and then you would, in order to play it, you'd have to use your smartphone or a device of some sort to scan and get the unique features, right? So you wouldn't have customizable pieces anymore because a lot of those pieces would have electronic crap in them. Or, honestly, the board game community does need ways to connect players together virtually. I just don't think we need a new piece of hardware. We all have phones. Why do we need a board with microchip bases and dice? Lots of games are already getting $100. Now I have to get another piece of hardware. Get out of here.
Yeah. No. Yeah, he's speaking truth there.
I think like it should be separated, to be honest. Like, I think we should probably move to something like augmented reality for your HeroQuest board, and then like something more like something more on that front. Because yes, it costs them a little bit more to have to program software, but it's cheaper in the long run if they just sell the software. And then if, let's say, you want to play, I don't know, you want to play like virtually with somebody, they can technically do that. Also, that companion app, technically you guys played that without the board and everything.
Yeah.
You guys just played that. If they made an app where people could buy it at like half the price of the game, and it was like a fully flourished like game, and then it had added features if you integrated it with your physical game, then it would be a lot better. This here, like you said, to me is just a big gimmick. It's like Skylanders or whatever the Disney version of that was. I can't remember. It's something that I feel would last.
Well, that was Nintendo. Amiibos.
No, I mean they still got Amiibos, but like because those are linked to your game, your hardware itself. You don't have to buy like a portal and crap for that. Like, and that's what I'm feeling like this is.
Thinking like, they it's no longer profitable. They shut off the servers, and all of a sudden your game is like handicapped. It's crippled.
Well, yeah, but like, see, you wouldn't be able to 3D print these. I don't think if they got all that crap in them. Like it's.
What would you do? You have to like bootleg the chip and buy it from some.
Like you'd have to do something funky with it, and also I feel like painting that would also be kind of complicated depending on how they put the stuff in there, especially if it's got sounds. I think that's also from your phone too.
Digital paint jobs. Yeah. Think about it.
You might be able to
this is a great paint job. Take it off. Oh, it's just great.
I agree with Albert, like doing something like, and the rest of chat. I feel like we do need a way to link people. I feel virtually with this stuff, but we have video games to do that in that sense, and there's a way to link that stuff to your smartphone and link it to physical.
It doesn't have to be tabletop simulator. I mean, I just point the camera at the board, and some people like that, and some people can't stand it. It's like,
well, I meant more something like that, but like less glitchy. Like something that Avalon Hill could help make, or Hasbro
professional quality
help make. Yeah, like it's. Like I said, I don't think everybody's going to be completely on board with something like...
And I was actually worried that HeroQuest was going to be this from the beginning, that Sargon was going to be completely digital. And instead, they opted to just say, here's the game, you can always play it. So HeroQuest, they could try to make it digital, but they couldn't force us to do it. Like, we still know that you can do it. Just like with D&D, it's like they could take it away, but it's out there. It's too late for them to roll it back. But with new games that they make, they could do that. And yes, if it's popular enough, like a whole new generation of players could grow up thinking that that's all there is to it. Now, of course, the GM is digital. Of course, you got to use your phone to play it.
Playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do that. This could be a way to help introduce people who don't have groups to play with.
Yes.
And especially because, like they said, they're utilizing AI. And with things like ChatGPT and stuff getting more popular, it would be a big thing to help introduce people who don't have groups to get into a community. But Albert responds with, I think that my biggest fear is that they release a game that is really cool and uses this system, and the whole thing doesn't turn out well. And it goes away, and servers are offline, and the money is down the drain. and I hate to say it, but to reply to that comment, it's probably, if it's going to be a live service, it's bound to happen.
Yeah.
Live services and I'm going to say this in the kindest way possible, and probably the least professional way possible. Live services are the devil's asshole. I don't like them.
I mean, if you know your service is dying, I guess, like, okay, here, the servers are free now. Like, they could, but they won't do that.
But
right?
they're not. No, they're not. Like,
They'll be just like,
so
no, it's gone.
If you're playing a game you really like and that you really enjoy, but and it's a live service, it's a service that has like a good. They're doing that with multiplayer games. They actually incorporate a storyline with certain video games nowadays with your multiplayer games. So if you didn't finish it, and let's say you're a guy with a busy family and stuff like me, and you take a break from it, and you want to come back to it, and let's say the game wasn't super popular, they take it offline. You may never get to finish that ever again, unless somebody like archives
But if you
and it's not off the server.
dust off your Monopoly game after 30 years, it works fine.
Yeah,
It's analog.
I also feel like this is, if they do go more digital than physical, or if it does get ruined and the original physical prints of HeroQuest stop coming in again, it's going to rise the cost of things like these.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Banana curse.
I mean, yeah, like, if it's just like something that you can integrate with your phone, it may not be too bad, because you could pretty much just buy the set at whatever expensive cost they offer it to you for, and you can choose to play with or without it, and still use, because it's a board game. As long as it's got the board, the pieces, the cards, and whatnot, you can use it. But that's the thing, is from what we read in this article, they may not have cards. It could just be the board and the pieces, and then you have to scan everything with your phone.
Yeah.
And
so then you'd have people that would just be like going through the app, like writing it down and then printing it out.
It will, if it's doing that, it's probably keeping track of your hit points and stuff like that too via your phone.
Yeah.
Like I said, like the,
but I mean, you
like
can create
everything's
like
done
an
on your
analog
phone
version of it.
Yeah, so it's probably one of those things is that I would probably just say, if you guys are fans of the original stuff,
hang on to it.
Hang on to it.
Make copies. I didn't say that. Or did I?
You have electronic credit card monopoly, might not have money.
Yeah, there is a Monopoly that has fake credit cards, but I mean they're not really. It's just a little.
Oh, it's weird.
It's just a little scan thing that goes beep.
So how do you know what's on your balance? Does it tell you?
Maybe it does have a magnetic strip. I don't know. I haven't played it. I've just seen it.
Yeah, I haven't played Monopoly since the original stuff, so I'm kind of out of that.
Play Monopoly with real money. Play Monopoly with credit cards, like actual credit cards.
I feel like that's how the rich people play Monopoly.
Yeah. If you lose the game, you get shot in the head. It's like
that's when Park Place is really important.
Yeah.
Did you just say if you lose, you get shot in the head?
Yeah, it's like Russian roulette. It's like playing for keeps. This is like directed by Rian Johnson.
God.
Okay, so Alberg is just dropping truth bombs. So what's he saying now?
Just last thing he said is trying to turn a board game into a live service. Yeah. Rich people play Monopoly with real buildings. Yes, they do.
They don't have to. They don't have to play it.
The owners of my duplex are playing Monopoly with those buildings.
Yes.
And losing.
Electronic chess, electronic battleship. Those have existed for decades. Also, I was thinking of, remember Nightmare? Like the board game where you had to put the VHS tape in and it plays it, and it was like a really cool thing, but it was a gimmick.
That space bar. Oh wait, turn on the monitor real quick. Okay. Sorry, give us just 1 second. You're about to see a magic trick. Are you guys ready?
God. Whoa. I think it in here.
Now, scoot over real quick. My stomach for a minute.
RantCast. Yeah, so there's a lot of potential with the digital stuff, but I just prefer to play the board game. I mean, either give me the video game, give me the board game. I don't know about this hybrid stuff.
There you go.
Ah, haha. Our high tech.
Now you can see chat without having to like leer over.
Hey, Matreya's here. Nice.
You just can't type anything.
I get it. Okay.
Well, now you can't see chat because you.
No, I can just see who's in the chat. Well, hey. So, final verdict on this, or I guess we'll just wait and see, won't we?
Yeah, I mean, really, I wouldn't be super worried about it right now. The big thing is I wouldn't be super worried about it at the moment until we get more details on it. Because right now they just released a demo last year. And, you know, with the advancements in AI and whatnot, they might be altering the way they kind of release this. You know,
Scroll down to the comments. There's some hilarious comments. Yeah, on the article, the Polygon article. Actually, I don't know if you really want to read that or not, but.
Oh, okay. Here, it's like, hold on. Okay, I just wanted to make sure there wasn't any like racist or any like really bad comments, but it looks like this is just okay. I mean, I guess the comment section here agrees with you guys, so. We'll
unless that was you with an alias, say
no,
edited. Yeah.
Here you go. This is the dumbest idea ever. It's been around forever and never been successful, and it won't be. Also surprised they haven't changed this thing's name yet. It's the cringiest shit.
That was by Oxy 2 weeks ago. Hey, just reporting. We report, you decide.
I like how somebody mentions in the first thing, I'm confused. Trying to find a good one.
The amount of corporate buzzword speak tells me everything I need to know.
Yeah.
About horrible nature behind the market drivers of this abomination.
Pretty sure the suits at Hasbro at least just felt happy to pitch this for their earning calls since it ticks the AI checkbox for their BS bingo. And that right there is how I feel about
NFTs.
Yeah, because like every big company right now has to compete with the AI market, and I'm pretty sure this is what it is. Because
AI.
Look at the company Explore, right? Who names their company that one? And like, I'm gonna have to like look them up.
1998.
Like,
awesome.
Because like it just kind of seems weird, but like, you know. Seamless onboarding. Who the hell throws that out with a straight face in any context that isn't an HR meeting?
So these people are not taking this.
Me and my mates are always going on about seamless onboarding, usually when we're leveraging connectivity at a quarterly earnings call.
I mean, they do have their own language they speak, to be fair, but yeah.
Yeah, but who uses that for
has no clue what
when they go to like commercialize their service.
Seamless onboarding, guys.
You'll get fast connections to seamless onboarding.
Like, just translate that. What the heck does it actually do?
I really got a travel guide AI commercial at the gas pump the other day. Oh, gross. I really hate how we're relying on it. It's stupid. Like, it's just bad. After this, we're going to my rant. Yeah, that's really bad. You got me going. You got me on fire. ChatGPT commercial are starting to come at me real fast. Yeah, man, they really need to regulate it. It's awful. I really hate that every company has to be utilizing AI because it's gonna turn on us so bad. And then other countries are gonna start utilizing it really bad, and then you think the phone scams are bad. You wait until we start getting seamless AI call scams and
I talk to AI
email scams
in my work. It's so annoying.
And they start copying companies and
give me Ric Flair.
Down to the logo and copyright, right?
We talk to Ric Flair.
It's just a cheeky trending word of business.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's how business ruins things, man. a lot of people blame government and stuff, but I blame big business. I really do, because they don't worry about anything that they destroy. They just walk over everything, and they don't care what the fuck they step on.
Well, and you think that, like, you would think their own self-interest would keep them from doing stupid stuff. Because it doesn't.
They think they're just rich enough that they can avoid whatever happens, the consequences of the world.
Consequences, yeah. Golden parachute, all that nonsense. Too big to fail. Yeah, there's a lot of problems there.
It's not like just about them, but you need to scoot a little bit.
Yeah, drifting. Doing away. Gotta fix my beard.
But I bet if you pulled up a lot of some of the worst shit that's happened in the world, it's because of big businesses.
Yeah.
Minus the war, and even then.
Well, yeah. I mean, you could say a government is like a business itself. I mean, they're trying to make money and keep their shareholders, their citizens, at least placated.
Then there's the AI NPC companion mod for Elder Scrolls. That shit's wild. Look, that's what I think it should be. To me, AI is just a funny thing that comes when you, for example, that Trump Biden thing that we watched.
Yeah.
Or the
people were saying, "Oh yeah, it's much more substantial than the real debate."
The real deep faking, or the stuff that's just for kicks. And then, when they utilize it in certain video games for mods and stuff, that's fun. But I don't need it. I don't want to have to worry about whether the calls I'm getting are real or fake.
Yeah. Because
people don't know how to regulate stuff because they're too worried about making so much money. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and they think it's a get rich quick scheme. It's like, oh, we don't need talent anymore. We'll just throw a bunch of crap in a computer.
So because we got the writer's strike right now too.
Kathleen Kennedy is going to walk up to the mic and say, "Yes, all of our Star Wars movies were AI written." You see Rian Johnson, he just kind of flickers and disappears. There's no one in the chair anymore. Hey. J.J. Abrams actually never existed. You look at his bio; it's just blank.
It's all AI written.
Bad robot. Well, that was your clue right there. See, just saying. All these, it's the first digital directors. Conspiracies.
Or having your AI pad your resume or something. I feel like some of that helps, because then you can fill in the blanks and stuff.
Write your term papers for you.
I don't know about that, because then you don't learn anything.
Yeah, you won't. Well, it's like the driverless cars. Eventually it's oh yeah, I know how to drive, so in case something goes wrong, and it's nah, I'm just gonna take a nap. I don't need to. It's when I was a kid, it was why would you need to do math in your head? You just got a calculator. Everybody's got a calculator. It's cheap. So you don't train yourself to do that stuff. And so yeah, it dumbs everybody down.
Moving on to our next topic of discussion.
Same.
AI truly destroys the world, but it's not just AI; it's the human race relying on AI.
Yeah, WALL-E was a documentary. Telling you. They tried to warn us.
We'll just have ChatGPT write a 3-page paragraph on how AI is going to destroy the world.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not. I guess I'm not a huge fan on that either. And like we've said before, companies always have to tick a box, and they don't worry about the consequences. Or if it makes a lot of money for one company, they've got to follow suit. You guys got. I feel like big people, they got somewhere because of a certain reason. They should have the brains to think before they do stuff, and
they're only good for one shot. They get into position and then they're
give me some smart ass answer about how it does certain things, or they use terms like seamless onboarding.
Yeah, but NFTs, yo.
That word makes me want to kick somebody in the teeth. Swear to God.
But just think, if you spent all that money on an NFT and you're
no,
I got to just
the AI. Yeah, dude.
Well, there's trends, there's fads. We all know this.
Yeah, those are scams.
Well, yeah, there's outright.
Crypto's one big scam. That's all it is.
Well, yeah,
it's bad.
That's a whole RantCast, but you could say it's like a collectible as opposed to a currency.
An NFT is not. No, you own nothing. You own the thought of the thing, pretty much.
At least a Beanie Baby is a physical object. You could like throw around. You could hit it with a baseball bat
Yeah.
and stomp on it.
Get yourself some Beanie
Light it on
Babies.
fire. But yeah, digital thing, you just hit delete and it's gone. And then, oh, you got another copy somewhere. So you copied and pasted it. Oh, no, you can't do that.
Like, I would rather buy art of like a scribbled drawing that somebody wants for like $3,000, because at least it's something that somebody did and they think it's valuable, you know,
Yeah,
and
it's
it's
the
like
value.
the beholder.
Yeah,
an NFT is like
on Steam.
Yeah, I've got this
license.
NFT of like this sprite that's worth $5,000, and if you buy it, you own the NFT.
Like I've got so much money, I can just like blow it on stuff like this if I want to.
Nobody has been able to ever properly tell me what exactly it is. Like,
just like a GIF. There's a GIF in a digital wallet or something.
Yeah, but they'll sell NFTs of like old movies or something like that.
Like a clip.
Yeah, and like it's stupid. Like, and they'll sell it for an abnormal amount of money too. Like, it's ridiculous. Yeah, and I've also witnessed like people who are like in streams, like, and they'll get people who do like the marbles game. There was the guy who made the marbles game for Optimus. When I was doing my stream,
okay,
he got visited by the dev there, and the dude tried to sell him crypto or tried to get him into crypto.
Oh,
it was like a big scam. He like could not do the game anymore because that's all that was.
Oh,
it was an invite to the crypto, pretty much.
Just a foot in the door. Darn it!
This is the stuff they need to put up on their HasLabs to test whether there's an actual market for it. See, like to me, it's less AI. I think the AI is just so that they can be lazy and they don't need to hire people to do the work. Yeah. For me, it's like, but the game premise itself reminds me a lot of Skylanders. Hey, put your shit on the board and watch it come to life.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a cool gimmick, at least at first.
It'll be great with like 8-year-olds, and then like after they grow up and the next generation doesn't give a shit about it, it will die super hard. And no offense, like if you're interested in this, then great. Like I'm not just saying like it's just kids, but like to me that was the fad, right? Like interactive physical media to mingle with like your phone or your video game or whatever.
Yeah.
It's been going on since like the 90s.
Can't put your phone down anyway. You might as well use it.
Does anybody remember the R-Zone?
R-Zone, no.
It was like a game. It was a game console that you wore on your head, had like a little lens, and it holographically projected the game onto the lens, and it was stupid. It was like one of those like
a cheap way to do VR.
Like you remember like the little games.
The Tiger handheld.
It was like a Tiger handheld for your face.
Oh wow.
And it like had a cord that came down to a controller.
I love those, but because they were way cheaper than a Game Boy.
But like, it had interactive cartridges, and it was just like you said, it's a gimmick. It's all it is. I'm like, I walked around with that thing strapped to my head.
Oh man.
For like a month, and then after that was done. Like, because it was just ridiculous.
But they got your cash.
Yeah, it was like
your loyalty.
$60 or something like that. It was crazy for like how cheap it was, because it was just a light that projected like a Tiger Electronic type game onto a lens.
If I was,
and it was red. It was worse than the
Virtual Boy.
The Virtual Boy, because the Virtual Boy you actually had to look in
and put it on a table because
you couldn't play that thing in daylight. You had to like play it in a dark room.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I mean, you're a kid, you get it for Christmas, you play it for a month, then you shelve it.
Let them have a Patrick moment where he got to enjoy a moment that there was a market for HeroQuest. Yet have some that have the same smell test for Hasbro.
Okay, so yeah, I get it now. Sorry, Albert. Yeah, so you're saying they should HasLab it, see if people really care about it, and that'll be the test.
10-to-1, it's what they did is like explore like an indie company or something. So I'm like I said, this is speculation, but it's probably not some big Fortune 500 company, and they hired on a small company to do this project. They're going to create a couple like demo units. They're going to kickstart it, and if nobody buys it, they're going to fire them.
Well, that's another thing I worry about. So Patrick O'Rourke, the marketing, I call him the marketing guy. Watch his interview. He unpacks it all very nicely, explains it. I mean, that was a cool interview, and it was basically like they knew HeroQuest would be successful, but they had to prove it with numbers, and that's how they did it. So yeah, you could get people's attention with something like this and maybe get everybody on board, and people freak out for a couple of years about it, but then it just collapses into nothing. That's certainly possible. Whereas something with HeroQuest, it's like you could look back and say, well, it was really only viable for 5 years, and then they kind of shelved it in favor of like Polly Pocket and all this other stuff that was easier to produce. But you don't know how big the stuff is going to get. Like, is it just a nostalgia thing where it's going to be popular for a while and then people move on to the next thing to spend their money on? Who knows? But yeah, the digital thing, yeah, it's kind of a fad. It's kind of an industry fad right now. So I don't think it'll ever replace the thing that we love. It'll mostly be interesting to see what IP they tie to it to make it happen, to be honest. Yeah, I agree. I mean, with a lot of this stuff, like I don't feel loyalty to like the big companies, like Hasbro. Like I know that if they don't put the money behind it, it doesn't happen. You know, if they don't make the executive decisions, it doesn't happen. But I'm more loyal to like those individual designers who feel like they understand fans and like actually try to create a product that's good. But unfortunately, I feel like they could always be replaced by somebody else who's willing to just do whatever the company says, you know. So I feel like they're vulnerable, you know. I hope those guys, you know, continue to prosper and continue to get that creative freedom. But yeah, if they decide to replace them all with AI and say, okay, now here's an AI thing that's going to generate quests that you download and all that stuff, it's like, oh man.
For $30.
Yeah, that would really, like, I'd just be like, screw you, I'm just going to write it myself. So hopefully we don't get to that point. But yeah, I always think in terms of HeroQuest, but yeah, there's like myriad games out there that could be made or broken by this technology. Yeah, I know Avalon Hill was tied to some of the stuff I found online. I mostly think Betrayal was the game that has a bigger candidate. But yeah, I just downloaded the companion app, but the companion app for Betrayal is just like, you know, you choose your character, you click on your items, and then it's like, okay, turn to page 34. It's like, what? So if you don't have the game, that doesn't make any sense. It's like, what's on page 34? Well, I'll have to find out what that is. So it's still a hybrid thing. But I was like, oh, I'll teach myself how to play the game before I sit down with some people. Oh yeah, I can just read the instructions. The tech I've been shown with the game demos didn't look like it was at scale that could handle a 1-inch square game format, says Albert. It was more of a 3x3 room, and the mini hit a center point within that. Yeah, I haven't watched their demo video. I probably should do that. But you could always say, yeah, the technology's in its infancy, and it's going to change, it's going to grow and develop. And so maybe it's not ready yet, but it could be ready in the near future. So, I mean, obviously they're trying to sell it to the company, and they're trying to get them to invest in it and develop it further. But for right now, we just have companion apps. You know,
So,
really basic AI.
Rast, have either of you tried Dark Quest? They have 3 video games that are very HeroQuest inspired, but add some really fun mechanics.
I still haven't played those, but
Yeah, I'm not. Want to elaborate on those?
yeah. So Dark Quest. So before HeroQuest was relaunched, there were a ton of products that were playing into that nostalgia. Like, it's obviously inspired and it's meant to evoke HeroQuest. So one of the games has little like icons of the faces of the guys moving around. It reminds me a lot of the companion app, actually. So you've got, you know, your little orc and your little barbarian crash together and they make sound effects, and it's like, oh, you killed the guy, and then you move him around, get the gold. It's very simple, but it's kind of cute. And then the second game is more like, it's like a 3D render of a dungeon. And so it's almost like Gauntlet, but it's slowed down and like kind of a turn-based thing. Kind of like, they have Warhammer games that are like that. And then the third game, I haven't watched it as much, but I've seen like videos where it's like you're going into like taverns and like encampments between quests, and you're like doing more RPG type stuff. So it's maybe more like an old school like adventure game, but clearly they're evoking things from HeroQuest, because HeroQuest is like a generic fantasy anyway, and so they're obviously playing on that nostalgia. So I haven't played those games. I've watched some videos of them. They look kind of cute, kind of fun, but it's like I've got the game, so I'm kind of like I'm playing this rather than that. But I guess if that gives you your fix, I mean, why not? And I'm sure they've got their own unique adventures that are separate, because they obviously can't just copy HeroQuest. They got to do their own thing. So Dark Quest. So yeah, check it out. I guess it's on Steam. And what was that game you were playing? The Warhammer like Skaven thing. But
Warhammer
Vermintide. Yeah. I mean, that looked fun.
We should do a Vermintide game.
Yeah. And you could say, well, that's Warhammer Fantasy, but it reminds me of HeroQuest. It's kind of like a choose your own adventure book. Oh, Maitreya says, oh, you're talking about the third Dark Quest game? Yeah, I'm not as familiar as probably you guys are. Dark Quest 3. Yeah. Well, speaking of choose your own adventure, I got this one of the Dune games. There's lots of Dune games.
Oh, yeah, I need to get that game on the
Dune
PC.
House Secrets. Oh, the Spice Trader or Spice Wars or whatever it's called. Well, anyway, one of the Dune games is called House Secrets, and literally you're dealing cards, and the cards just like have stories on them, and you're just reading the story. And at the end of the story, what you're supposed to do is, I mean, there's tokens, but it's mostly just you're reading a story, and then at the end you go online, you enter a code, and it's like it gives you a quiz. You're like, so who was the guy that was murdered? And you choose it, and it's like, and then if you get enough questions right, it says you won, but if not, you lose. So it's like you're doing a book report, schoolwork.
For Count Cogpox, I only have Vermintide. I don't have Darktide yet because I'm waiting to get those games for people who I can regularly play with.
Vermintide, wasn't that a free one?
No, I bought it.
Okay.
I believe.
They have like a trial period. Or something like, because I downloaded it, but I didn't buy it.
I would definitely play it with you because I was looking to play it with somebody, and then there was one guy who I play it with, but he just stopped playing it. So, but yeah, I enjoyed it. So
when you say rough, you mean just like difficulty wise?
I mean, it kind of reminded me of like a Left 4 Dead-ish type. Because you had 4 characters, and they all had their own abilities.
Those games are fun. Yeah,
you were slaughtering some amounts of monsters and
big mobs of creatures coming after you.
Then you had a boss, I believe, around the end.
See, those are fun to play co-op. I like those kind of games. Maybe not all the time, but small doses. They're a lot of fun.
There was a game last year that they put on beta that literally was like a dungeon crawler with a multiplayer. And what would happen? It was like you and 4 or 2 to 4 other people, and you'd go around this randomized dungeon, and you'd try to get to the center. And it was like a Dungeons and Dragons for everybody involved. Just a classic because you were always in a dungeon. But you would find it was you would find weapons and armor as you went, and then you keep them if you lived. Now, if you died permanently, you lost them, but
your penalty, yeah.
Yeah, but
in that loot. Well, he says there's a lot of microtransactions.
I don't remember in Vermintide. I've been playing without him, but there's loot boxes.
Well, see, I think just like Team Fortress 2, it's a free game.
But it wasn't
that you can buy.
Yeah, but you get a loot box and stuff when you win and stuff, but I guess you can buy that stuff, but I never buy any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I know that Darktide has a lot more
he's saying
incentive.
MK Micro Tactics, transactions are only cosmetic.
Yeah, they're cosmetic.
So what does he mean by micro?
So I think he means like Mortal Kombat or
micro. Oh. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, he just said
micro-tactics.
micro. I think he just mistyped it.
Oh,
But like, I'm just trying to.
the fact that like I never make typos in my type stuff.
Let's say I thought Mortal Kombat had stuff like that. Yeah,
Might.
but a lot of them only have like you buy cosmetic stuff.
Yeah, but what are micro tactics?
So microtransactions that like go towards like new outfits, I think. That's what he's saying. Like I said, I never played Dark Tide, but everything in Vermintide is all cosmetic.
Okay, well,
So
I mean, that's fine.
like you'll go to a store and like this outfit or like
Yeah. Ever since
I'm not like super
like wrestling games online,
experienced on it.
Yeah, the you can't minimize the importance of different outfits for projecting that player.
I would definitely join you on it because I haven't played very much of it, and
I'd play it.
yeah, it's something that I've been looking to get into.
Problem is, like on my weekends, I'm always doing my own thing, so
Need to free up yourself.
Yeah, drop in, play a little co-op with you.
Yeah, I would do that. Like I said, I do also doing like Remnant 2, which is also multiplayer.
Yeah.
There's a couple other multiplayer games I play.
I'm getting close to kind of a little bit of a break, so we're getting close to finishing our playtest. Sorry that we had to cancel it today to do this. I mean, this is a lot of fun. But once that's done, and we're really close to finishing the Frozen Horror, like this Saturday on HeroQuest fans, we can make it happen. The final battle with the Frozen Horror, the final showdown. And then before we jump into the next thing, yeah, maybe just have a little weekend where we play some other games, because as HeroQuest fans, we're always going to be doing that. It doesn't always have to just be HeroQuest.
Yeah, and like I said before, I'll hop in for the final Frozen Horror, but
sausage fingers helping the typos. Yeah,
but
yeah. Well, you were at the beginning. You were the barbarian.
Mm-hmm.
You are the barbarian.
The strangest bus.
Always
arrives late. Always arrives drunk.
Molly the murderess.
Yes.
AKA Stabby McStab, the great sword. Yep. That was Richie boy named it Stabby McStab. Everybody has their own name for the big old honking sword that cleaves the enemy in twain.
Molly the murderess. She craves blood. Yep. On a regular 15-minute interval.
She's a harsh mistress. Yep.
Or she gets heavier every time.
Okay, so Count Cockbox says micro in terms of it requires a high amount of focus on higher difficulty levels. Like dodging and never being hit by hundreds of enemies coming at you becomes imperative. Okay, so it's not just like a hack and slash where you can just mash buttons and survive. You got to be like,
like I said, there's bosses in there and they get pretty complex.
Yeah.
So
okay. Well, as long as it's fun, I guess is the thing. I mean, I like those mob type games. I mean, Gauntlet Legends, like, what a blast!
Oh, that was fun. Yeah. I'm glad that Sir Death helped me finish that. I need to get in contact with him again, and we need to do something else.
Oh, with what's it? Gauntlet Slayer Edition. Yeah.
Maybe do some more. Do some classic Gauntlet or something like that.
Yep.
That would be nice.
And you played the Aliens game too. What was that one?
Fireteam Elite. I've got that as well. Like I said, I've got tons of multiplayer games. It's just finding people to play them.
Yeah, that's always the trick, isn't it? That's the trick these days.
So, yeah. And like I said, I do multiplayer madness every once in a while, but I used to do it regularly, but I just don't have anybody to join. It can't be multiplayer madness unless it's multiplayer. So
that's right. You got to get those AI players. No. So I've noticed that we haven't really said much about Star Wars.
There's nothing going on in the Star Wars world. I would say if they say Rosario Dawson is doing new things with Star Wars, I don't believe it. So
Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Soak up your.
I mean, I can pull up some new. There is probably new news. I know that there's movies in the works, and
you're just mad because they gave her a nice send off, and then they brought her back. Before you knew it, they packaged it and they sold it. You know, they spent so much time thinking about, you know, if they could do it, and they stopped and thought about if they should.
You should give that to your big business.
Leaving money on the table. It's like, yeah, but he died. Yeah, but what if he didn't?
Can we talk about the $500 HasLab that is Star Wars related? Oh, please. Oh, Greg, let's bring that up.
Yeah.
Look that up.
That's fired.
Is that on the HasLab site?
See, Hasbro, we will celebrate your victories, and we will just grind your face into your defeats.
Oh no. Is that... Oh, it was the first thing.
It was funded.
It was funded?
Well, okay, fine. Rub my nose in it.
Oh, no. Why?
What is it? It's a spaceship.
It's not just any spaceship.
It's a...
This is a Carillion ship, my friend.
We're not talking the local bulk cruisers, mind you.
Oh, this is the...
Well, hey, they had a dream.
I can't remember what it's called, but it's the one from Rebels and stuff. So...
Okay.
Wow, but it is pretty detailed.
What's the scale on that? Did it show a picture of it next to humans?
That's the scale.
Oh, okay. 28 inches wide, 34 and a half long, and 13 inches tall. Well, that's pretty good size.
And most people will never open it or play with it. So
right. Yep.
That's what hurts me the most.
Children will never know the joy of
you've got something that would work the imagination of so many kids. And I understand kids get pretty rough with toys, but like if I had something like this when I was a kid and it was that detailed on the inside, oh my god.
It's like, Daddy, show me the toy. No, it's a collectible.
Yeah, like...
So how did you guys like Blandor?
You mean Andor?
Oh, I see what you did there. Bland.
Man. That was the only new Star Wars that I actually enjoyed.
I got 4 episodes in and I kind of just gave up. It's not because I hated it. It just didn't grab me. And I know if I had hung on for just 2 more seasons, it's just 1 season more.
No, you should have been hooked in there by then. It's not that bad. I got into it by the first.
My rule is 4 episodes. If you can grab me in 4 episodes, I'm going to keep watching.
I just feel like when you go into anything new Star Wars right now, your heart's just not in it. And if you're not open into any of it at all, you're not going to enjoy any of it at all.
It's cold, like the frosty wilderness of all.
There's a RantCast somewhere in there that gives me thoughts and opinions about Andor. When I first started in our older RantCast archive before we rebooted it, there was a thing on it when we were talking about like the newer series, and Andor was brought up. I had no fucking hope for Andor whatsoever.
Even Obi-Wan wasn't. Well, he was your only hope.
No, because I was mildly interested in Kenobi, and then Kenobi turned out to be like it was okay. I'll just go with it was okay. Because I didn't hate it, but I would be willing to sit down and rewatch it, but I didn't mind it.
Come out to play.
Did you even finish that series?
Yeah, I did. I finished myself.
And then Andor, I watched Andor, and I actually got into Andor. So I liked Andor because it was like a crime drama. It was something new. It wasn't just like, hey, check out these characters. And
I tried.
You remember from the original Star Wars? Or like, something like that.
Just
like
shoehorned fan.
Yeah, it wasn't just a bunch of random ass fan service. So
it had some things going for it.
Yeah,
but
I know.
It just didn't. I mean, I just kind of drifted away and forgot about it.
It's not the original trilogy, so
So it sucks. Automatically. But I don't think. Yeah, I don't know. I'm hard to please when it comes to Star Wars anymore. But it just.
I'm gonna bash you every time about that.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It's okay.
What was the original trilogy that I made back in the 70s?
It's to me it was just like, it was something different. I felt. Now if I rewatch it, I'll probably have a smaller opinion about it, but spoilers, the guy dies anyway, but like it wasn't about the main character, it was just about how the show was shot. Just the way it kind of pulled you in a little bit. But you know, it's not. It really isn't for everybody. I don't expect everybody to like it. So, I don't like Tales of the Jedi. Wasn't too bad.
I forgot all about that.
And yeah, like there was a time when I was like, okay, I'm gonna reopen my eyes and my mind to Star Wars a little bit. And I did. And then they were like, oh, people are getting back into it a little bit. Now we're just gonna start pumping it out like Marvel. Like there's like a series for everything. And they announced Ahsoka and all that other crap, and I was like, we don't need any more. So I don't need any more Ahsoka. Like they've run that character into the ground.
We found one thing that you like, so we're just gonna just shove it in your face.
Yeah, like
just cram it down your throat.
Ahsoka was a good character because she was in one thing, and then like
too much
they killed her off in Rebels, and that's why I have that on my back. It's my background picture right now because her last scene was supposed to be in Rebels. And the scene was closed on her, and then
glorious end.
You know, Disney said, "Oh no, we don't need that.
Stories can't end. They just got to keep dragging it."
You know, the next season you need to bring her ass back." And then so they did, and she lasted all the way to Jedi. So now, you know, Kathleen Kennedy and her gremlins have to tell that story too. So
yep.
I don't know.
Well, she's surely dead by Rise of Skywalker, because don't you hear her voice? She died like 2 seconds before that scene.
That's really funny because I still have that popcorn thing. I'm like, Star Wars just is it's a torture device for me. I'll never give it up, but it'll never get better. So
yeah.
I don't know. It's at that point to where I'm older. I'm too old for the series to give a shit about my opinion, and at that point, I'm they're going for kids more than anything because kids are easily impressionable, and if you haven't originally seen the original trilogy first and your first exposure is to something of this nature, you're more likely going to accept it than
that is Star Wars to you.
Get rid of it, so you'll find interest or you won't. And I feel like that's why they're doing it. They're just pushing through that stuff. And a lot of people my age do like it, because you know they're taking their kids to Disney World and being like, "Oh, check this out," and like all that stuff, and you know, and I still would, but I
want to say,
I'm not like one of those people in those videos who like lose their shit when they like get accepted. There's like a guy who got married, like it was like a Star Wars theme over there and everything like that. Like, yeah. And,
I mean, there's fandom and there's fandom, right? So,
but
yeah,
I'm okay. But she was still in the time void space or whatever. Yeah, see, I'm not. I don't know what that is. I'm like
worlds between the worlds,
and like that's Disney's that's Disney's stamp. They like to do multiverses and. They do things on a grander scale. Like if something happens, it's not just the world that's in danger; it's the multiverse. Universes are in danger,
so nothing matters.
And then like your kids and like your grandparents that are sitting at the theater going, "Huh? Well, what's a multiverse?"
In comics, they always had it. It's like, oh well, this is the Superman that. He's a bad guy. Oh, and this other Superman.
They brought it in.
This guy has a black costume, and this guy is a red costume.
Like, oh, I don't think it was canon. Look, 10-1, it's somewhere.
It's not canon until it is again, and then it is until it isn't. Star Wars canon is a joke. I mean, they only do it because they think the fans care, but they change their minds so much.
My heat's rubbing off on you.
Yeah. The rage. I like Star Wars, but that doesn't mean I like all of Star Wars, obviously.
He likes 10% of Star Wars.
Yes, the 10% that matters. But see, you can introduce that to your kids and be like, hey, you like that? Well, here's an even better. Or they're it's not new and flashy, so I don't like it. Maybe. Or maybe they'll appreciate it.
My favorite part was when Rey grabbed the lightsaber and they were like, "May the Force be with you." Oh. Yeah, I don't know. there is new stuff. It's just, to me, it's not super interesting right now, and it just seems kind of like a money making scheme. That, and like there's a lot of toxicity like flowing around.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's just negative. Like
I feel like
I'm not interested, and I don't really feel like I will be.
They've created it and they've fed into it, and I think that's something a company should never do.
Some people want like Rosario Dawson's head for some weird reason, and like I don't know why. And then like there's also people who wanted to take down what's his face for the Mandalorian, and then
Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, and the season 3 of the Mando was, to me, it started off strong and kind of ended off a little like limp. It was like this, and then it kind of softened up. Kind of ended up a little stale by the end of the
RantCast.
Yeah,
mature audiences only.
But it wasn't too bad. I wouldn't like not recommend it. So if you're looking for, I guess if you're looking for Star Wars,
just
yeah, get a hold of Bo-Katan.
We need Vin Diesel in there.
I didn't mind that. It just was, to me, it was the Gideon thing. He should have been gone, and like they brought him back, even though the great actor, by the way. It's just
what else has he been in besides?
Well, he's done a lot of things. He's actually done some video games recently. He was in Breaking Bad. That's where a lot of people know him from.
Oh,
okay.
Because Bo-Katan, Katie Sackhoff was in the Battlestar Galactica remake, and she was in the third Riddick movie. As for what that was worth,
he was in The Boys. Oh yes, he was. He played the CEO of whatever that corporation's called. I can't remember at the moment. But that's another show that I'm looking forward to getting another season next year. Yeah, Vought. He was the CEO for Vought.
Boys.
And
all of our name badges, well, some of our name badges had The Boys.
Yeah.
Like, do I have to promote the show?
Where are the channel points? We don't have channel points. We're not.
We're not that big. This is the RantCast.
Yeah, if you go to like the StrangeBus channel and
StrangeBus or
HeroQuest, we're affiliates there. So the channel points there. We don't have channel points.
This means we can just stream and just say whatever we want. We don't have to worry about all.
Remember when the RantCast had hourly ads?
Yeah, ad free.
Now it's like
free ads.
Every now and then. Hey, we got a follower.
Hey, thanks, Betrayal.
Oops, I need to move that because it's now like in the middle of. We did some reorganization today for the live sesh, and
yeah, we haven't done one of these in a while. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, we got to reset up some stuff.
Yeah,
but thanks for the follow. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we got to do some unboxings.
Oh yeah, we do.
Yeah, got that HeroQuest behind you.
Well, I did unbox it during the Forest. Remember, I played the Forest. I have opened it. I haven't done anything with it, so we might be going over it tonight. And then, yeah, because I do want to get into it.
Yeah, man.
I do want to grab some more expansions at some point in time as well. Then I'll just mount it all on my wall next to the Robin Williams photo I have.
Yeah. See, I mean, the whole Wizards of the Coast thing, kind of, that was some heavy stuff.
Oh yeah.
But there's also some goodwill. Jacer, I didn't notice until I went looking for Sound Alert.
Oh yeah, like so we eventually we will, and then we'll have like cool voting things for people to do.
Jacer got a shout out in Carmine's interview talking about the switching from back and forth from Battle Masters to HeroQuest, and yeah, he was very impressed by that.
There we go.
Polls. Yeah.
What about polls?
I think he wants polls.
You want to do a vote, or what are we voting for?
Yeah. Gargon for Wizard. My vote.
Yeah, like all in all, I guess. I can tell you one piece of like pop culture, one piece of media that I did enjoy. And if nobody has seen it recently, future topics, yeah, we can definitely do that. I saw a movie called The Menu. That was a recommendation.
Heard of that.
So here, I'll switch it on over.
It's horror, isn't it?
It's like a comedic horror. It's actually really good. So I'll show a little bit of the trailer.
Yeah, I've seen the trailer.
But it's got a really good lineup. And it's kind of like a Willy Wonka for adults. Almost, it's the only way.
Wonka's kind of messed up.
The only way I could put it up.
They're remaking that too.
Yeah, I'm not interested.
No, Timothy Chalamet. So Paul Atreides is going to be Willy Wonka.
But I'll put this up, and then we kind of discuss a little bit.
Now we know what the secret ingredient was in the Wonka bars: spice.
It's kind of a betrayal on like rich people and culinary bullcrap.
Now we got to do audio jungle for this.
I don't think so, and if so, I'll edit it out for YouTube.
Over the next few hours, you will
so here we are doing stuff, bringing in the goats for the sacrifice. Oops.
And at
Toilet.
times, entire
Okay, you got your Gordon Ramsay stuff going on.
Are you crying?
Audio jungle.
Very moving. So it's okay, but I'm.
Got the.
I think it's more going to capture
the New Mutants
trailer, if anything.
It's like, oh yes.
You shouldn't be here tonight.
That was.
But it is kind of horror involved, yeah.
You, dear guests.
You think this is just a game?
Isn't that right?
I die.
Audio jungle.
Audio jungle.
Meaningless compared to what happens outside.
Okay, and the murders begin. This isn't directed by Rian Johnson, is it?
Nature is timeless.
No.
What?
This isn't directed by Rian Johnson, is it?
No, it's not. It was actually preferred over Glass Onion, though, which was really funny.
He's pissed.
Is this bergamot I'm getting, Chef?
After they all got audio jungle, then real audio jungle.
So yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Rated R.
I really enjoyed it. There's not a lot of movies that I like personally enjoy, like recently, within the last I don't know couple years. That's one I can truly recommend.
I saw Black Adam in theaters. Oof. And the first part was kind of cool, but yeah, it was kind of hit and miss.
Yeah, this one has a really good lineup of actors. It's a really good like facade on like rich people in the culinary world that we live in.
And it's a little bit too far.
It's kind of got a thing on. I got a little Willy Wonka vibe too, only with murder.
Yeah, because Willy Wonka was trying to teach the bad kids a lesson.
Yeah. And like without spoilers, like everybody in that room was guilty of something.
Yeah.
Except for one person. So yeah, it's
his own brand of justice.
Yeah. So it's I would recommend it. You can actually find it anywhere on a streaming service. There's I think a couple places that have it for streaming, and if they don't, it's on Amazon. So
yeah, maybe my local library has it.
Oh yeah, maybe if you go to your local library.
Yep, analog all the way, physical media. So I heard you watched another movie that has a storied history.
For some reason, the menu clips kept autoplaying on my YouTube, so I feel like I've seen the movie even though I haven't.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like I feel like I played League of Legends even though I never have.
It's like the boardroom in Dogma.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I believe in voodoo. And then he kills everybody anyway. One person.
Yeah, he does. He lets one person go, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kevin Smith, back when he was...
Oh, speaking of Kevin Smith.
Ruiner of franchises.
Which is really weird, because I don't know when he exactly got unpopular. But,
I don't know. He's always been a fanboy.
Yeah, and that's what gets me is
people
like
put him in charge of things, and it's like, what are you doing? Don't do that.
But I don't remember. I don't remember when he exactly got unpopular. Not chick flick, but it was about like
rom-com.
No, it was I can't remember what it was called, but there was one movie that got really bad reviews, and I think after that it was just all downhill from there. But So I saw Clerks 3.
Sorry. I mean, Clerks was just like, okay, I guess it was a little bit amusing, a little bit edgy at the time, but it was
big
like,
for the time.
here's this man, his dream of making a movie. There it is. Like, that's what it was.
And then
And they made Clerks 2, which I never saw. And then Clerks 3, I've seen little pieces of it, and it's like, what the hell is
no,
this?
it wasn't Forgetting Sarah Marshall. So like
Jason Amy?
no, so around this time he did like some like between 2011 and 2015, 2016, he did some like really off the wall movies.
Oh,
so
is
he
that
did
him? Zach and Miri make a porno?
No, he did Tusk, and then he did something else. He did 2 other movies. I can't remember because I haven't seen them. But I heard they got like really wacky reviews.
Was there a Mallrats too?
No,
There's for more money.
these are off the wall. They're not like the View Askew stuff that he used to do. But anyway,
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
no, he wasn't the View Askew stuff.
Oh, okay.
Jeez.
Not paying attention. I don't even know.
But
Kevin Smith, who's that? Never heard of him.
so I didn't mind Clerks 2, but like once again for the time period it was in, it was okay. It was like your typical raunchy comedy thing.
There's some of those.
And it just reminded me of how, like, I guess we treated each other in high school, minus the weird donkey thing at the end. So, and then this one was just pretty much a myriad of the first one, like just kind of like a reminiscing. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
well, yeah,
Color,
and
too.
with a bunch of like, no, it was a mixture of black and white and color. And,
Oh, it was. Okay.
and it was like just a bunch of old people talking about. It's really like a coming to older age story because your characters have heart attacks and then they want to make a movie. So it's just a rehashing of Clerks, only when they're old. And like I said, the feeling is there.
He-Man,
Like,
yeah. He ruined He-Man.
oh, did he make He-Man?
Yeah. Man, the trailer for that looked so good. What garbage did you
So you see, yeah.
There have been several attempts to reboot He-Man, and yeah, I think his was the worst. From what I hear, I never actually saw it.
I never saw it either. I didn't know he did it, but
Yeah, and he fought with fans online about it. That's never a good look.
it could be another reason why he's kind of going. Yeah, so to me, I think it was just him doing what he wanted to do, and being to his closest fans, I guess, because I guess that's what I've been heard that he's he's kind of heading to his he caters to the diehard fans a lot. So
What about Tila?
I don't know who that is.
So Tila was He-Man was obviously made for little boys. But there's the one female character. Well, there is actually 2. There's the sorceress. You don't see very much, but Tila is basically like the Lois Lane to He-Man, Superman. She doesn't know his secret identity, but she's kind of like trying to figure it out. And she's cool and all, but yeah, they said He-Man was kind of like an afterthought in his own show. It's like She-Ra, so if you want the strong female character who's He-Man's equal, you could already do that. So why did you just take a somewhat minor character and I don't know. All this is secondhand.
Yeah, so but anyway, it just wasn't anything that if you've seen Clerks, it wasn't anything that you've seen before. It was literally a bunch of close to 50-year-old dudes sitting down, and after one of them has a heart attack, I'll probably just spoil it. But so sorry, spoilers ahead. So if you actually do want to watch this, I don't know. But,
spoiler alert!
And one of them, Randall, has a heart attack in the midst of dissing everybody, and he comes to terms with his mortality and wants to make a movie, which is pretty much the first movie. And they're rehashing their Clerks days and all that stuff within the movie, and they're pretty much throwing shade at each other throughout the entire time. And then to simplify it, they get into a bit him and Dante get into a really big fucking fight. He says something horrible. Dante has a heart attack. It's there's a lot more to it. There's some moments where they brought in Rosario Dawson because they can only afford her for a day because now she's got more clout than they do. Oh, did I go robot? I'm sorry. Am I still robotic? I hope not.
Are there robots?
See if I've got confirmation. It's in and out.
It's nice. It happens to other people for a change. It's not just me.
That's no good. Is it better?
How about now?
Notice I'm not dropping frames or anything.
Yeah. Must be you, bro.
Pause the stream. Could be banned. Just click on that. Click that.
Click here?
Yeah. Hold on, we're limiting bandwidth. Give me a minute. I could be playing like 3 versions of the stream right now. Okay.
Oops. Okay.
Yeah, don't. You're okay. Yeah, I lost 294 like a little while ago. But it says I'm okay now. Yeah, Streamlabs took my stuff from my channel. Are we good now? Just made a couple adjustments. Yeah. All right, cool.
Pull out the speakers again.
Because I was pulling 3 different streams, which is weird because I should be fine even with that, but oh well. My line is still exposed from when they ran over.
Seems good.
Outside, so they still haven't buried my line, so that could be an issue.
The ghost outside the window didn't want you to see that, so they hit the line.
But I don't know, really. Like I didn't. What was it, like a month or so ago? I lost internet, and like it's because they were moving in a different ISP, and they went to dig, and they cut my line up.
See.
So they have a 10th line out there, and it's hanging outside the box, and they haven't buried it yet. They were supposed to be doing it this month, but it's halfway through the month. They still haven't done it. So
okay, USA.
But
I don't get it.
Anyway, there's much more to it. Like I said, they could only have like Rosario Dawson for like a day, I guess, because that's all they could really afford. So she showed up because they killed off her character and the kid.
Bloodsport.
So from the
I
second
need to
movie.
rewatch that movie. It's been too long since I've seen Bloodsport.
And
Rick's not hit back.
yeah, there's not much to the movie other than the fact that they both have a heart attack and one of them dies. So I don't know, I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10, and that's generous, mostly for the fact that I was a fan of those movies back in the day, and I've met Jason Mewes a couple times, pre and post his addictions. So I mean, both times he was cooler after, but yeah, both times he's been pretty cool, and he gets really personal with people, like, you know.
In a good way.
Yeah, in a really good way. Like, I met him at the last time he was in Des Moines. It was in Comic-Con, so I met him there, and he pretty much just, like I had a lightsaber, and, like, I was in, like, Jedi robes that I had gotten and stuff like that. And, yeah, he like, talked to me for a while, and he wasn't supposed to. It was supposed to be kind of like a thing where they took pictures, and if you paid for the pictures and stuff, you could go.
Jacer is asking. We can see the emotes. We can see the emotes you're posting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ribby says, I got a hug from Kevin Smith at the Chicago Con, so yay. Well, I hope you hugged him back. He probably needed it.
Dude, he's short. But yeah, like, he was pretty cool. But
I don't know. I mean,
he took way more pictures than he should have. Like, the guy literally just grabbed my phone and was taking snapshots and stuff. And, like, he knew I was nervous, so, like, he was pretty fun, and he took his time with everybody. So,
and
that's something, because that was the same con I met Billy D. Williams at, and Billy D. Williams was in glasses and wouldn't even high five or handshake anybody.
Because you think that
he was hungover. No, he was hungover.
He was partying the night before.
They wouldn't do pictures with him. He was hungover. So,
yeah, I mean, It says so much, though. I mean, regardless of what you think of celebrities, like the work they do, it's like when you're there to see your fans, like just be like generous, be gracious. I mean, that goes a long way because yeah, people pay to see you, or they travel to see you, and yeah.
Yeah, and like I said before, it's if they can do that, and no matter where they're at, because our Comic Cons over in the capital. Because like I said, like I don't live there. I have to travel down there, and even that was what 8 years ago. That was still kind of a drive for me.
Ribby, was that because of COVID, or they didn't want the greasy fans to be too close to him? So he got to meet the hobbits, but they were separated by plexiglass. Oh yeah, COVID. Yeah.
But yeah,
there was one of the people in our group got sick, but yeah, none of us got sick.
Well, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, it happens.
Even driving down there and everything like that, no matter which kind of convention they were at, they were still pretty nice people. So
Sean Austin still got COVID the day we were there. We'll see. I mean, it's like, yeah, when it's somebody who's got like a health condition, it's serious. It's like, oh crap. I mean, that's Dave Prowse. That's what did him in. Of course, he was pretty old too. Rest in peace. But yeah, a lot of those actors, it's like, yeah, you're around that many people, I suppose.
Yeah, it's still like I said, I got Jason Mewes that year. It was Jason Mewes, Brandon Roth, and Billy D. Williams for the people that I got personal with.
Ruby can fight through it. Yeah. But, you still got to see that movie. That's on the list movies to watch.
William Shatner and who was the original Hulk? You know who that is?
Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah, they had Lou Ferrigno there and stuff like that. And like
Banner, but the Hulk.
Yeah, I got to see them, but I didn't do anything.
Yep, Ribby knows.
He's at every con. Yeah, so and like I said, the person who probably got the most personal, I think, was Jason Mewes out of all of that. So,
well, some people, it's like that's how they make their living, or that's all they got to do, and it's like, sure, somebody cool to meet.
Or like I said, with the on that, well, it wasn't like exactly small, but it wasn't huge either, because like I had space to walk around at that convention, and like usually with conventions at a bigger places, you're bumping shoulders.
Yeah, GenCon. I mean, the exhibit hall you could move around, you could see on the videos, but like the vendor hall, it was just like this. And yeah, people like, had their hands on each other's shoulders. People were like holding up phones and like waving to try to like find each other in the crowd. It was ridiculous. It was hot. Yeah. You could feel the heat. I'm glad people used deodorant and showered and wanted their costumes.
Yeah, so it was that was not the case. I think there were a couple of tight cramped spaces, but like nah, and it wasn't even close to that. So like I said, I appreciate an actor and or actress that like even when they have to go down there, even if it's a small place, they still appreciate people that appreciate them, and I can at least say that for. Like I said, Kevin Smith probably doesn't make great like the top grossing movies or the best movies, but I can still say that at least gets like him and the people that he works with at least get pretty personal.
Yeah.
So,
like I said, if the fans are there to see you, be personal, because I personable. Because otherwise, it's like, yeah, if you don't want to be there, just don't do it. Just don't go.
And that's what I would have said. Like, because like I said, I was happy I saw Billy D. Williams because I don't think I'll ever do that again. But that was a very forgettable experience. Yeah,
he was not prepared.
There was a guy who was ahead who looked really nervous and was like, complimented him and everything, and like went to go shake his hand. I mean, and he didn't shake his hand; he fist bumped him.
At his age, you probably should. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but he probably shouldn't be doing that.
What, shaking hands?
No, like getting hammered for that.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, I don't know when this was before. I don't know how old he was in 2015. I mean, he's pretty old now, but like
in his 80s.
Yeah, even then?
No, now.
Oh yeah, then he was probably early 70s or something like that.
Good-looking guy. I mean, he was almost 50 in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, so it was
dude.
Slubs are very hit or miss. Yeah.
Let's be honest. If he had invited you before the thing for drinks, like would you have gotten hammered with Billy D. Williams, or would that have just been depressing?
You really want my honest answer? No. I don't. Okay, like I said before, I'm not huge on on people I don't know, drinking with people I don't know. So I don't know Billy D. Williams. I like Billy D. Williams as an actor. I don't love him, and I don't know who he is. So
yeah, that's true. Well, but you don't know any celebrity, really.
well, and that's what I'm saying is like,
People feel like-
you want to come to terms with like people who say like I love that guy or something like that.
You love the idea.
Yeah, you love the idea, but
yeah.
Coolest dude I ever met was Edward James Olmos. Such an
yeah.
easygoing guy. Yeah, he'd probably be cool.
Battlestar Galactica. I was thinking.
Yeah, and it's like it's that, right? Like, and that's another reason why I didn't get a photo or a signature from William Shatner, because one, he was like super overcharging for that stuff, and like he like showed up for 20 or 30 minutes, and then like left.
He's too big to do anything.
Billy D. Williams was there like half the con at least before he left.
Sure.
So
he probably didn't want to be there, but he toughed it out.
yeah. So
Stuck with
it's to me it's just one of those things like I was not a big place, but it's a at least it's if you're gonna have your agent sign you up for a convention, at least go or say no, I don't feel like it. Like don't wake me up for that. I'm not going there.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess that's a for another RantCast, but it's one of those things where that kind of gets on my nerves. Brandon Roth was nice though too. If you guys don't know who that is, he did Superman in 2006, and he was
he lived the part.
He was the Evil X number 3 in Scott Pilgrim, which is what I enjoyed him for.
Oh, Kirby says they did a screening of Wrath of Khan here in Madison. And then Shatner came out afterwards and talked for a bit. Then you get a quick photo op with him. It was kind of lame.
Oh, I forgot Ruby is in
His
Madison.
t-shirt was too small, so his big belly was sticking out.
I forget you're in Madison. Or you're around Madison. I'm going to be traveling back up there in September.
But it's William Shatner. Come on. I've heard that's the best side. Is that true?
Of Madison? I don't know. I'm always by, when I have to go there for a job, I'm always by Ho Chunk. So if you know where that is, Ribby, that's usually where I'm at. So, and I'm always by downtown Madison.
Shatner is a
That's
pretty
where I
old
stay.
guy, too, so I mean, get your chance.
Yeah, that's where I have to go, because that's where I work. That's where I do jobs over there. So.
Cast.
Yeah,
It's like the relaxed cast.
it really has been. Hey,
Chill.
it's a podcast. We don't always have to be yelling about stuff.
No.
We've done our fair share of rants today.
I've still got the afterglow of GenCon on me, so
You really are kind of glowing because of the light on your camera exposure.
I'll get angry and like ranty later on. I mean, like if
I'll make sure to
Doom-
put a shade of red over the camera.
yeah, it's just like the rage. Yeah, it's like give me the uncomfortable chair or something like I'm just like freaking out the whole time. Yeah, if Dune Part 2 ends up disappointing me, that's gonna be a lot of ranting right there.
But it won't, because in the movie,
Christopher Walken will be the Emperor of the Galaxy.
going to be the emperor
For
the-
30
of the
years,
galaxy.
he sat on the throne.
sat on the throne,
He gathered the spice.
and it was very nice.
Got him in a vendetta kind of mood. He hadn't killed a man.
Admit I was soft spot for children of Dune.
10,193.
Oh.
Oh,
Hey,
it's
I'm gonna get
great.
that Warren Spice game though. That looks so good.
Yeah.
That 4X looks so great.
Spice must flow.
It must.
And have a soft spot for the Children of Dune miniseries. So that was entertaining, James McAvoy, but I was
I haven't seen him in anything in a long
I
time.
read the book, and it's like the little sand trout, the little worms are like crawling all over his body and like, form the creature, and like, he lives for thousands of years. In the show, it's just like he got like a couple like pieces of rubber like glued to his arm. It's like, that's stupid. That's cheap. I mean, I know you're a TV show, but come on. It's really dumb. That let me down.
Has he done anything recently besides that? I haven't seen James McAvoy in anything recently.
Well, he was in,
Besides X-Men, yeah. he was in
the X-Men stuff.
He was in X-Men, and then Yeah,
I was
'cause-
gonna say the young Picard, but no, the young Professor X.
yeah,
Yeah.
Besides that, I just know him for Wanted.
But see, they had to
Just
change.
smacking Chris Pratt over the face with the keyboard.
Yeah, gotta see that. I've seen that scene, but I haven't seen the rest of the movie.
You haven't seen Wanted?
Nope. Never wanted to.
Never wanted.
Son of a. Yeah, that's always in the back of your mind when we're doing the RantCast. You're like, I say something that pisses you off, and you're just like just grab
Like I
it.
said, Chat did it first. Chat ignited the rage first for me.
Yeah.
So
They had to change a lot of the Children of Dune. There's a lot of racy stuff in the book, like because you've got people that are kids that have like the mentality of adults that are just like ruthless, and the amount of stuff they do, and it's like Game of Thrones like level, like risque stuff. So yeah,
I wouldn't say well today.
as a book, it's one thing. As a TV show, that's like for mainstream audiences. So. Yeah, I mean the original Dune is a classic. The other books they kind of go all over the place. I mean I've read them all the Frank Herbert ones, and I know the fan base pretty much is very harsh on the spin-offs that his son wrote with Kevin J. Anderson. But going back to it, Kevin J. Anderson, the fans give him a lot of crap. Tales of the Jedi, just saying. The graphic novels, those were great. They weren't the best thing ever.
And the show isn't that bad either.
Ah, okay. But see, there's good things in there. So, but yeah, if you like the Children of Dune miniseries, hey, more power to you. Because there's Dune Messiah, and then Children of Dune, second and third books. They combined it into one. Sci-Fi Channel and did a series. And I forget the actress's name who plays Lady Jessica, is the same woman who was the Borg Queen in Star Trek First Contact. I remember that. Oh, well, Alice Creek. There you go.
Before we finalize anything, do you have anything more you want to give?
I'll probably think of something like after the stream's over. That's usually how it works.
Oh yeah,
RantCast. Yeah.
We'll save it for our next topic.
Yeah, there's always the next.
We should be back next week. You don't have anything going on, do you?
Well, you mean to do an on-site one?
Might be doing virtual, depending.
Okay, yeah.
Let's talk about that more.
I want to get back on the playtest because I did talk to Hasbro'S Ai. It's like, okay, we're taking a break because we're going to do this.
Does anyone at GenCon talk about PulseCon coming up?
PulseCon. No. There was some other con that was like game holes or something. I don't even know. But there's all these conventions going on, and I could basically do one of these a year, like as far as the time and the money commitment and just the energy required. But no, they didn't mention PulseCon. No one was talking about it. Yeah, it is. It is. They have stuff that they could talk about. I mean, the Path of the Wandering Monk. Oh, that was the whole topic we didn't get into, the controversy. Did I say it? Just right at the end.
Depends on what you're inviting in.
Yeah. So, Path of the Wandering Monk, I have nothing negative to say about it. Because I think as a new character, it's interesting. The way they give him monk rage. So, I don't know who these people are.
That's pretty much Goku. You're bringing a Goku into HeroQuest.
He has 4 styles. So they don't call them spells, they're styles. Each of the cards has like an ability on each side. You use one and then it gets exhausted.
Oh, Kaioken.
But once all the monsters are dead, you get them back.
Oh,
so you can chain the stuff together. You can't use fire until you've used air, earth, and water first. And they give you special abilities. So there's one that lets you just do a perfect jump over a trap.
I mean, to play monk, get crunk.
Yes, there's one where you can attack each monster adjacent to you. So you could attack like, all 4.
Oh, dude, that's dope.
Yeah, one time. When you're unarmed, you get 2 dice. So you can put your weapon away and just fight hand to hand. Drunken style. Yeah, play monkey crunk.
Monkey.
The fire stuff, you hit them once, it does 1 damage, and at the end of the monster's turn, they take 2 more damage. So it's like the 5-finger death, strike, or they're burning, they take more damage. And you could do like a stream of fire at them, and it's like lightning bolt, so it passes through, but it only targets enemies.
Oh, snap!
So you could shoot through your friend and hit the monster behind him. So he's got some cool abilities, but he's limited. He can't wear any kind of armor, period. So that's going to make him really vulnerable. And the strongest weapons that he can carry are a crossbow or a short sword. But he does have those abilities. So he wouldn't be by himself. He'd be with the other heroes. But anyway, there's people that are pissed that he supposedly, I don't know who these people are. Some people were saying like, oh, they wanted it to be like a D&D cleric. And we did have one comment in here. Like, I was kind of hoping...
Why don't you just make it a D&D cleric at that point?
Yeah.
You can do that.
You can do it, yep.
Why do you do that?
You buy the figure. I turned the bard into a pirate, okay? Because I didn't want that. So, it's easy. It's easy to mod it.
Right.
Yeah, what's this comment?
I believe you have the choice to expend an action to get the styles back. No monsters are in line of sight. It's not forced. That way you can expend the 3 styles in roam, waiting to unload fire. Jacer says, or a monk with the animal styles.
Yeah. So, and then I think one person said, well, is this cultural appropriation? And I just, with respect, dismiss that outright.
I would say that just seems like a dismissive comment. I'd be like, yeah, no. I don't feel like we need to get into that because that's I don't think HeroQuest needs to do that.
No.
So
if you research Japanese HeroQuest, it's all the Western stuff in Japan. Like, they didn't transform it into something else.
Well, you always get that person that always asks that question or wants to with anything, and like I feel like
I'm not a European.
There are things that scream that sometimes. There are things that sometimes I feel are forced, but in this case, that's not. I'm 98% sure that is not even close to the case here.
Yeah,
it's just a new character, and they wanted to give a creative, like, kind of twist.
Yeah.
Hell, the first thing I said was I didn't even say monk. I said Goku.
Yeah. Well,
a different character. If you want your HeroQuest to be different, make it different, folks.
If you want to hear what their thought process was, watch listen to the second interview with Carmine, Chris Nato, talking about why they did what they did. But I mean, he says clearly in there, if you want a more traditional like cleric, like you want a priest character who has like miraculous powers, you can easily just do that. And in fact, I was thinking of doing something like that too. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna like change the titles, just like I did with the Bard. It's like, okay, he's a pirate, same figure, different abilities, and there's nothing wrong with playing it the other way. I think it'd be cool if like you have the 2 monks, the Eastern monk and the Western monk, and they're cops, and at first they're like kind of at odds with each other, but they get together, they solve the case. Every week on the HeroQuest channel.
Great topic.
Yep.
But we are running out of time. So, as much as I want to continue this, we can
have the 5th element. Yep. That's right, Jason.
Yeah, we can bring this back to the table either next week or whenever we bring back to the RantCast. I do want to thank everybody here who has joined us, because I feel that we've been gone for two weeks, yeah?
Yeah, we're a little rusty with coming back.
And it's, like I said, a lot
for everyone.
A lot of personal stuff for
the world
has come in play, and like, we're trying to get more regular, but I just appreciate everybody's patience and stuff like that. It's wonderful to see you guys just coming in and speaking with us and interacting with us. It's awesome. So, keep doing that. Keep bringing on the heat. Keep giving us topics to talk about. Because really, it is the community that we kind of want to build.
Jacer says, "Wood, fire, earth, water, and metal."
But Yeah, and I also want to thank. I definitely want to thank Kurgan here for joining me tonight. Because,
and thanks for making this happen.
Yeah, it was kind of like an on the spot kind of hookup and setup.
The sweet setup like this.
But we want to try and do a live session here on this table back here, using some of my HeroQuest stuff because I want to kind of dust it off and actually use it. It's still brand new, so that if we can get some people into an interactive thing, we'll log in on my laptop. We'll hook everything up and get things started.
Because you've been Zargon, you've broken that barrier. You've done it with Tabletop Simulator, so
I have, but it's been a while. I'm a little rusty. So.
Yeah, it's so much easier to just like take the dice in your hand and roll them rather than having to be like, okay, I got to click and then I got to hold that key and I got to shake it around.
And then, what was it? We wanted to also incorporate on, I don't know if it's your channel, but I'm probably going to say your channel, maybe some introduction to HeroQuest stuff.
Yes.
For new players.
I've been meaning to do that, and I've gotten a lot of requests for that. Definitely.
Like doing it with each class, learning how to play, some easy tips and tricks, stuff like that. Just to kind of get new players, and then kind of going forward from there. And I'll be wanting to join in on that as well, because I'm still pretty new to this whole thing. But once again, I want to thank everybody for joining us. Like I said, it makes it a lot more fun when everybody comes in and talks about
play
stuff.
off each other. We're easily incited, so like somebody says something really inflammatory and we just fly out the handle. Just get angry. And then everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
Tune into the previous ones if you haven't seen them, and you'll see a couple times when I lose my cool, or we go on just crazy rants.
Well, you could go on a bender if you wanted. Yeah, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yeah, the thing is, there is so much. Yeah. Anyway, that the monk is clearly going for all of that, like Hong Kong martial arts, Mortal Kombat. Like, there's so much you could do with the way they've set it up, and then it's also a foil for whatever you want to create or sub in. It's another miniature. One of them's got a cool staff, the other one's got an eye patch, and he's got his hands up, ready to go.
Well, anyway, we have to cut it short.
But next time on the ring.
We should be back next week. We'll try to do a setup like this. If not, then we'll probably just go back to virtual.
Yeah.
But we should be back next week. We'll keep postings in our Discords. And once again, like I said before, thanks everybody for watching.
Thank you.
Once again, probably already know this already, but I'll do this just for the VOD. I am the StrangeBus. You can catch me here at twitch.tv/TheStrangeBus. I'm joined by Kurgan, also known as HeroQuest Fans, and you can catch him at twitch.tv/HeroQuest Fans.
Work on the merch shop idea.
Indeed.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, StrangeBus.
And we'll catch you guys next time. Have a great night, everybody. Take care of yourselves.